A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
This I Believe. Margaret Weymouth Jackson is the author of 6 novels and about 400 short stories. Her writing has appeared in national magazines such as the Saturday Evening Post and a number of farm newspapers. She and her husband operate a gift shop in Spencer, Indiana. In addition to her writing and the store, Mrs. Jackson has 15 grandchildren to keep her busy. This is her creed.
I believe in my country. Love for America and faith in her have been a passion all of my life. My parents were of pioneer stock and shared the pioneers' love for freedom and democracy. Long may our land be bright with freedom's holy light is more than a phrase in a song to me. It is the dearest prayer of my heart. All other human relationships, marriage, family life, friendships, are enriched and ennobled by patriotism. The need for world unity does not diminish my love of country any more than love for humanity diminishes love of family. I believe in womankind. Nothing hurts me more than to hear a woman disparage other women, and perhaps without intention, thereby disparage herself. I believe it is the privilege and responsibility of women to protect young children and women all through life, to do much of the world's work, to adhere as much as possible to spiritual conceptions, and to resist materialism and sensuousness. Most women know this and work always toward a better life for their families. The degradation of women in modern writing seems to me most deplorable and cannot benefit the race. I believe that most men and women, fortunately, love honor and goodness wherever it may be found. Women must live by principle if humanity is to survive. I believe in religion. Now and then, one finds a person endowed with goodness, just naturally good. But for most of us, there is an unending struggle with our own natures. In this struggle, the greatest aid I can have is a strong religious conviction. In overcoming greed, dishonesty, selfishness, unhappiness, I must have faith in God's goodness and in His love. I don't understand how anyone can long survive without prayer. I believe in work, any kind of work. My deepest and most lasting satisfactions and rewards come from work. I like cooking and housework, even scrubbing and cleaning, as well as writing and storekeeping. Whatever work is at hand can be done with honor, even with glory. It's not true that some work is dull. Only the worker is dull, for imagination and pride can be brought to any task. It seems to me that it is fortunate for most of us that we have to work. I believe in fun. I love a joke and think nothing healthier than laughter and few things more estimable than cheerfulness. Some of the direst times in my own life have been relieved with mirth. I'm convinced that a good national or international guffaw might lessen some of our fears. Young people aren't taught sufficiently what fun, children, and family life can be. When my small grandsons tell me with gales of laughter their terrible little moron jokes, I am convulsed, not at their wit, but at them. And when the family baby wabs up her fat hands before her and solemnly practices her 10-month-old trills and crows with laughter afterward, my soul is filled with delight. A delight which need never fail us as long as there are children, anybody's children, in the world.
That was Margaret Weymouth Jackson, an author, shopkeeper, and housewife, who lives and works in Spencer, Indiana.
The wave that gives that natural look is T-O-N-I, Tony.
Tony. Tony Home Permanent, the wave that gives that natural look, brings you Crime Photographer. Good evening, everyone. This is Bill Cullen greeting you for Tony Home Permanent, and inviting you to listen to another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Our adventure for tonight, Scene of the Crime. Evening in the Blue Note Cafe.
But, Casey, what's so funny? Look, Casey, I don't want to be in the Blue Note all my life. I'm only striving for self-improvement, like the ad said. I am dissatisfied with my present lot.
Well, Bert, that's fine. I admire you. And I guess there are a lot of things that you can learn by correspondence course, but why did you pick on being a detective?
Well, gee whiz, Casey. I want to be like you.
You... Oh. Well, I'm flattered. Well, in that case, why did you take a course in photography?
Well, you see...
Yeah?
Well, Casey, I don't like to say this,
Well, go
but
on now. Go on.
I think you're a lousy photographer.
What?
But I think you're a swell detective. Swell.
I am the best confounded photographer the Express ever had.
The way you go out and solve cases, the way you catch criminals, I think that's wonderful.
Well, you'll never learn to do that by some correspondence course.
The ad says satisfaction guaranteed.
Oh, sure, Chief. Well, what do they call this course, anyway? How to be a detective in 10 easy lessons?
12 easy lessons.
12.
Yeah, I just got the third one this morning. Look.
How to identify an unidentified corpse.
Yes, sir. It tells all about how to identify corpses. It's... Oh, hello, Miss Williams.
Hello, Ethelbert. Come on, Casey.
Huh? Where?
Out to the county turnpike. A murder was just committed there, and the corpse is still unidentified.
Are you a pin-up girl? Not the kind whose pictures the teenagers pin up on the wall, but one who puts her hair up in pin curls night after night? Well, you can save yourself all that trouble easily with Tony Home Permanent. Once you have a Tony, you're carefree, almost as if you had naturally curly hair. Come wind or rain or sleet, you don't have to worry, for your beautiful Tony wave is in to stay. Tony is the permanent that gives you this twin guarantee. Your Tony wave is guaranteed to last just as long as the most expensive wave you've ever had. And your Tony is guaranteed to look more natural or your money back. Tomorrow, get the Tony Kit, complete with plastic curlers for $2. And you'll discover why more than 2 million women each month find long-lasting, carefree loveliness with Tony Home Permanent. The wave that gives that natural look.
Toni, Tony.
Andy, I wonder how Logan's going to feel about this.
I know how he'll feel. Terrible.
Hey, Casey, it sure was a lucky break for you. Joe coming in to relieve me at the Blue Note just as you and Miss Williams was leaving, huh?
Yeah.
Now I can identify your body for you.
Yeah, sure. Well, come on, kids. Let's have a look at it.
Right.
Hiya, Logan. What you got there?
We got the report on the murder.
Oh, hello, Casey, Miss Williams. A murder was committed, all right. A blow on the head. So far, we haven't identified the body. No billfold or anything else that might give us a lead.
Robbery, the motive?
Looks that way, Miss Williams. Take man.
All right, everybody. All right. Stand back. Give him the air.
Ethelbert.
Ethelbert, what are you doing here?
Oh, hello, Captain Logan. I'm taking a course in detecting, and I just...
You
What? You heard him, Logan. Ethelbert's going to give us a hand detecting.
Oh. It's not bad enough, Casey, to have you on my neck everywhere I
Now,
go.
Logan, you know you love
It's not bad enough to have Miss Williams trailing me around.
Why, Captain Logan, how can you be so ungallant?
That's not enough. Now I have to have this...
No, wait a minute, Logan. Just a minute. Come over here, pal, just a minute. I want to talk to you.
Casey, I won't have it.
Logan, you listen to me. I've done some favors for you.
You have not.
I have, and you know it. I'll keep on working with you and doing my darndest to cooperate.
What is this, Casey, an inaugural address?
I'm just asking a favor of you. Now, don't hurt Ethelbert's feelings, or so help me, I'll scuff up every footprint I can find and wipe off every fingerprint in sight.
You wouldn't.
No, I know I wouldn't. But you wouldn't hurt Ethelbert's feelings either, now, would you, pal?
You're a nice guy, Casey. You really are. The trouble is you got too many dumb friends. All right, let Ethelbert go to work. My tech man is finished anyway.
Yeah, I know. Look, okay. Did you find out who the dead guy is yet, Ethelbert?
Yeah. How about it, Ethelbert?
Well, it's this way. I've checked the deceased for laundry marks, physical characteristics, signs of recent struggle, and other highly indicative points.
Yes?
But I didn't find out who he was.
I see. Okay, boys, cover him up.
Note, however, the state of the cranial section. It has obviously been shattered by a projectile blow, which, for reasons not yet apparent, Hey.
Hey, what?
Yeah, I know this guy. His name's Dave Wilson.
What's up, Logan? Boys here at headquarters have any information?
Yeah, the dead man's name was Dave Wilson.
But I already told you that 3 hours ago.
Quiet, Ethelbert. That's official, Logan?
His brother just identified him over at the morgue.
Then it's official.
Well, I ought to know Dave Wilson when I see him.
I'd better get in touch with Annie.
Don't bother. She got the story by phone from Flanagan.
I've known Dave Wilson for 5 years.
Ethelbert, you can go now.
But
we're very grateful to you for identifying Wilson, but we're busy. Go home. Goodbye.
But, Captain Logan, I got to stay on the case. I've been studying up on how to be a detective, and I think sometimes you employ archaic methods and proceed from false hypotheses.
Casey, get rid of that guy. Get him out of here.
You'll nothing.
Oh.
Ethelbert, if you want to sit here and listen, you'll have to be very quiet.
All right, Casey. But I did tell him 3 hours ago it was Dave Wilson.
What about Wilson's record, Logan?
He hasn't got one.
Not a thing.
Not even a parking ticket.
No, Dave was
Ethelbert?
a very nice guy.
Look, Logan, let's get down to brass tacks. What do we got to go on?
Well, you know, Casey, it looks to me like a gang or grudge killing. It has all the signs.
All the signs except a corpse with a police record. As far as we know, this Wilson was a perfectly law-abiding citizen.
Well, as far as we know, sure.
Dave Wilson wasn't no criminal.
Ethelbert, be quiet.
Dave Wilson wouldn't have got bumped off in no gang killing.
How do you know?
Because Dave Wilson wasn't no crook. He was a very nice guy.
Oh, shut up, Ethelbert. You don't know anything about Dave Wilson.
I know he was a very nice guy. He used to come around the Blue Note almost every week to make a collection.
Collection?
Sure, that was Dave's business. He took bets on the numbers.
Oh.
He what?
Well, you know, you place a bet on the numbers.
Holy
Dave...
jumping Jupiter. Why didn't you say so before?
Huh?
That's the answer.
Gang killing, huh, Logan?
Yeah, you bet.
Who's the top dog in the numbers record now?
Bugs Benson, and he's been trying to pressure all the little guys out of the business.
Well, it looks like he pressured Dave Wilson out of it.
And it looks like we've got him. We'll just pick up Bugs, and he'd better have a darn good alibi or else.
Yeah, say, Ethelbert, that's the second time today you've come up with the right answer. If you're not careful, you'll turn out to be a success.
Hello, Ethelbert. How's our private eye this evening?
Oh, hello, Miss Williams. I was just reading the paper.
You were, huh? What page?
Well,
Don't tell me. Let me guess. Page 2, column 4. Caption under photograph, quote, Ethelbert, bartender at the Blue Note Cafe, who yesterday proved a valuable ally to the police by identifying the body of David Wilson, petty racketeer. Unquote.
Yeah, that's it. It was awful nice of you and Casey to put my picture in the paper, Miss Williams.
Well, you deserved it, Ethelbert.
Yeah. Say, Miss Williams, do you like this picture of me? Maybe a little too much tie?
No.
I don't know. Sometimes Casey's lighting ain't so good. You know, Miss Williams, I think he ought to stick to detecting.
I think he ought to stick to photography.
What do you mean?
He's been following Logan's men around all day trying to find Muggs Benson.
Any luck?
No.
Miss Williams, it pains me to say this, but the reason nobody can't find Muggs Benson is that they ain't looking in the right place.
Ethelbert, they've looked everywhere.
Not the right place. It just so happens that I happen to have here with me Chapter 4 of my detecting course, wherein it is printed, and I quote, the criminal always returns to the scene of the crime, unquote.
Ethelbert, criminals do not return to the scene of the crime anymore.
Yeah, but, Miss Williams, it's what it says right here in print.
You can't believe everything you read, Ethelbert.
Well, that's a fine thing for you to say, Miss Williams, a reporter.
Who should know better?
As soon as Joe comes in to relieve me at the bar, I'll drive you out to the scene of the crime.
What for?
to prove the criminal will be there.
No. Ethelbert, you can't just drive to the scene of the crime and conveniently find a criminal waiting there for you.
You'll see, Miss Williams. You'll see. When we arrive at the scene of the crime, there will be a shadowy figure creeping about in the moonlight, searching for telltale clues to remove.
Ethelbert, this is the most ridiculous. Honestly, if Casey ever finds out I came out here...
Miss Williams.
What?
Look over there in the moonlight.
Good heavens.
A shadowy figure creeping about in the moonlight.
What's he doing there?
Searching for telltale clues to remove.
You mean you think it's Muggs Benson?
Why not? Like the lesson said, a criminal always returns to the scene of the crime.
Did the lesson tell you what to do with the criminal when you found him?
Well, in such cases, the approved solution is to detain the fugitive until such time as such help as can be obtained is obtained.
I see. Well, do you think you could detain while I obtain?
Huh?
Do you think you can slug that man and sit on him while I go for help?
Gee, I don't know.
No, if only Casey were here.
What would Casey do?
Well, he'd creep up behind Benson and slug him.
Okay.
Ethelbert, what are you going to do?
Creep up behind Benson and slug him.
Oh, Ethelbert, be careful, please. Remember, it's a murderer.
I'll remember. Okay, you. I got him, Miss Williams. I got him.
Wonderful, Ethelbert. Can you keep him there while I go and get help?
Sure, he's out cold. And anyhow, I'm sitting on his head.
Well, if he's unconscious, let's take a look at him.
Okay. Gosh, won't Casey be proud of us, Miss Williams?
You certainly will. Have you got a match?
Yeah, sure. Here.
Oh, fine.
I can't wait to see Casey's face.
Ethelbert!
What is it, Miss Williams?
Ethelbert, you said you couldn't wait to see Casey's face.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, then take a good look. This isn't Muggs Benson, Ethelbert. The man you just slugged is Casey.
Huh?
Hi, Ethelbert. Say, what's this I hear about your turning detective? I had to dash right over and find out about it.
Oh, it wasn't nothing, Mr. Cullen. I just happened to know that Dave Wilson.
Well, now that you're famous, I suppose you're going on with this new profession of yours, huh?
Yeah, I guess it's going to be really easy for me to be a detective, especially when I get some more lessons.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go around with Casey all I can for practice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I like helping him out.
I'll help you get some practice, Ethelbert. How about it?
Swell, Mr. Cullen.
All right, now I'll give you 3 clues, and by your superpower of deduction, see if you can tell me what I'm talking about, all right? 1, it's a home permanent that's used by more women than all other cold waves combined.
Maybe
2,
you mean...
it's the wave that gives that natural look.
Oh, that...
3, it's the home wave that's guaranteed to last as long as the most expensive beauty shop wave.
Well, give me a
Ethelbert,
chance.
I know right what you're going to say. Tony Home Permanent. You see, everybody knows that Tony gives a wave that's soft and easy to manage, natural looking from the very first moment. With Tony, you get waves so soft they look like naturally curly hair. With Tony, there's no frizzy stage. What's more, it's Tony that gives you this twin guarantee. Your Tony is guaranteed to last just as long as the most expensive wave you've ever had. And your Tony is guaranteed to look more natural or your money back. So get a Tony kit tomorrow. It costs just $1. With plastic curlers that can be used again and again, only $2. When you see how much lovelier you look and how long your Tony lasts, you'll know why each month more than 2 million women use Tony Home Permanent.
More than 2 million?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of women.
Yes, Ethelbert. Now, each month, another 2 million women give themselves lovely Tony waves.
Yeah, Miss Williams. Bring it into my office.
All right, Captain Logan. Here, Casey. Sit down.
I don't want to sit down. Leave me alone. Logan, how would you like to pinch that nitwit Ethelbert for assault and battery?
I wouldn't think of it.
Oh,
Does your eye still hurt?
of course it hurts. Ha! What are you laughing at, Logan?
You, Hawkshaw. It sure is a beautiful shiner. Who'd have thought Ethelbert pegged such a wallop?
Just wait till I get my hands on that bird brain.
Now, Casey, you leave Ethelbert alone. He didn't mean any harm.
What was the idea of going out to the murder spot anyhow, Casey?
Logan, occasionally evidence is found at the scene of the crime. It has happened.
My boys went over the place.
And occasionally your boys miss things. That has happened, too.
Well, here's something they didn't miss. All right, Flanagan, send them in.
Send who in?
Muggs Benson. My boys picked him up a half hour ago.
They did?
Yep, he's it. Oh, hello, Muggs.
Greetings, Captain.
Sit down.
Thanks. I hear you've been looking for me.
That's putting it mildly, Muggs.
I also hear you got a notion that I bumped off Dave Wilson.
Right again.
Well, for old time's sake, Captain, I'm going to give you a little tip. You're wrong.
Pretty sure of yourself, huh, Muggs?
All right, Casey. Yeah, I'm pretty sure myself.
Yeah? All right, let's have it. What's your alibi this time?
Well, according to the time Sergeant Flanagan tells me the killing took place, I happened to be at a basketball game at the Armory.
Can you prove that?
Sure, I can prove it. I was sitting right next to Judge Sibley. Have a cigar, Captain.
All right, Muggs. Judge Sibley corroborates your story. You can go now.
Thanks, Captain.
But don't go too far.
Why should I? So long, all.
So Muggs didn't have a thing to do with his killing, Logan. Call me in the morning if you need any help.
Call you? I happen to have a police department at my disposal.
Doing great, too, isn't it? Call me in the morning.
Ethelbert. What? Casey, when you opened that door, you got me right in the eye.
That makes us even.
What was your eye doing there, anyhow?
I was looking through the keyhole at Muggs Benson. Casey, he ain't the criminal type. The criminal type has got broad, flat features, small eyes, jutting chin, Gee whiz, Captain Logan, you are a perfect criminal type.
Yeah.
What? Ethelbert, look, suppose you just go back to the Blue Note Cafe.
Joe's over there relieving me. I got to stay on this case.
Sorry, Ethelbert, but I'm afraid there isn't any case.
A guy got killed, wasn't he?
Yeah, we haven't got a case against anyone.
Well, then we got to make one. Justice has got to triumph.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to triumph tonight. I'm going home.
Oh, no, you're not. Burke wants a story and some pictures of the bereaved family. We've got to take a run over there.
Swell, I'll go with you. Like it says in Lesson 2.
Huh?
Lesson 2. The answer to a perplexing problem is often to be found in the daily trivia of the personages involved therein. Come on, what are we waiting for?
I'm sorry my mother isn't in, Mr. Casey, but she's awfully upset about Dave's accident, and I don't think she ought to talk to the newspapers anyhow.
Oh, I see. Well, Mr. Wilson.
Buddy. My name's Buddy Wilson.
Yeah, well, Buddy, I'd like to get a few shots of the house and of you, and Miss Williams here would like a few facts.
Well, gee, sure.
I'll wait in the next room, Casey.
Yeah, sure, Ethelbert. We won't be long.
All right, now your name is Buddy Wilson.
That's right.
And the murdered man was your brother.
Uh-huh.
How about looking over here for a minute, Buddy? That's it. Hold it. Thank you.
Your older brother, Buddy?
Yes. Dave was 30, but I'm older than I look.
Oh, how old?
21.
You have no idea who might have killed your brother, Buddy?
No, ma'am. I didn't know much about Dave at all, except that he gave Mom a lot of worry. I just tried to keep her from knowing too much about his kind of work.
Well, okay, that does it for me. How about you, Annie?
Yeah, I've got what I want.
Ethelbert.
You call me, Casey?
Yeah, we're ready to go now. Just pack up these film holders.
Hey, just a minute. Mr. Wilson, would you turn around that way for a minute?
Well, sure, but...
Uh-huh. Now the other profile, please.
Ethelbert, what the...
Uh-huh. Okay, Casey, I'm ready to go.
What in the name of heaven was the idea of that last rigmarole about Buddy Wilson's profile?
Casey, Miss Williams, that man is the murderer. I can tell.
What do you mean you can tell?
Criminal type written all over his face. I was studying his contours.
That blue-eyed, blonde-haired little cherub, Ethelbert, he's got a baby face.
So had Babyface Nelson. That man is a killer, Miss Williams, and I got the proof of it on this box.
Ethelbert, where'd you get that cigarette box?
From Buddy Wilson's house. I swiped it.
Are you crazy? You could be arrested for stealing that.
Casey. Don't touch. I'm going to take it back as soon as I look for fingerprints.
Oh, well, what good are fingerprints? We don't have any of the murderer to compare these with.
This box is going to be lousy with Buddy Wilson's fingerprints.
Well, of course it is. It's his cigarette box. Why wouldn't it have his prints on it?
Casey, you're just belittling on account of you didn't think of it yourself.
Oh, Ethelbert.
All right. But if I was you, I'd investigate Buddy Wilson right away.
Well, I'm certainly not going to.
All right. Let a criminal escape. Ignore justice.
I'm not ignoring justice.
Might as well just open the jail doors. Might as well give everybody a gun.
It has nothing to do with it.
Can't even take the trouble to investigate a vicious criminal. Can't
All right. Now, all right. I'll investigate Buddy Wilson. But for one reason only, understand?
What's that?
To keep you quiet.
Blue Note Cafe, Ethelbert speaking.
Hello, Ethelbert. This is Casey. I just wanted to tell you that I've been checking Buddy Wilson's record.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'll read you what I have. Buddy Wilson. Criminal offenses? None. Arrests? None. Occupation? Salesman. General remarks? Graduated high school with honors. Class valedictorian. Sings in church choir. Sole support of aging widowed mother. Well, how's that for a record, Ethelbert?
That's fine, Casey. Just fine.
We all make mistakes sometimes, Ethelbert.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you'd better return that cigarette box you swiped from Wilson.
Yeah, sure.
You find any fingerprints on it?
Yeah, sure.
Whose?
Mine. Hey, Herman, Walter says your dinner's ready in the back room and there's no customers in the place, so why don't you knock off? Now, let's see, where was I? Uh-huh. The study of ballistics is extremely complicated.
Excuse me.
This particular phase of detection is...
Excuse me.
Oh, I didn't hear you come in, sir. Hey, you're Buddy Wilson.
That's right.
Well, you know, Buddy Wilson. What can I do for you?
I'd like my cigarette box, please.
Oh, sure. I was planning to take it back to you tomorrow, but now that you're here...
I'll save you the trip. May I have it, please?
Well, sure. I got it right here. Your cigarettes are all still in it. I couldn't get the box open.
It's a trick Chinese box. You have to know the right combination to get it open.
Yeah, I guess you have to know just where to press. It's a pretty box. Here you are. Oh, I'm sorry. I dropped it. I didn't break. Money.
You awkward fool.
There was money in it.
That's right. $10,000.
I didn't know that. Honest, I wasn't trying to swipe no money. I only took the box because I figured you was the man who murdered your brother.
I was. That's how I got the $10,000.
Yeah, I figured there might have been some reason why you might have done it. I'm studying up on how to be a detective, and Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh, you killed him. You're the killer.
When I came here for my box, I figured you to be stupid enough not to open it, so I had some hope of recovering some money I desperately need. But now, come with me.
Why?
I'll have to kill you, too.
Casey speaking. Oh, hello, Harmon. What? He did? Out of the Blue Note? What did the guy look like? I see. Okay, Herman. Thanks. Thanks very much. Look, Logan, I don't know who he was. I don't know at all. But Herman said, Herman, you know, the piano player at the Blue Note, he said he'd never seen the guy before, but the description sounded like Buddy Wilson. And Herman said it looked as though he forced Ethelbert to leave at the point of a gun.
Well, I still don't see why we're driving out here.
Because if Buddy Wilson is the one who picked up Ethelbert, it's my guess that he took him to the same spot he took his brother. For the same purpose.
Well, the murder spot's right around this bend.
All right. Pull up beside the road now. Be quiet. get your gun ready.
What for?
Just get your gun ready.
I don't see anybody.
No. Let's move up this way. There. Just beyond that fir tree. Why, see? Yeah, that's Buddy Wilson, all right. He's got a gun on Ethelbert. Logan, don't miss. Hurry, but don't miss. Good boy. Ethelbert, are you all right?
Hello, Casey. Hello, Captain Logan.
Hey, Logan. Logan, quick. Get some water. Ethelbert just fainted.
For soft water shampooing, use Tony Cream Shampoo. Even in the hardest water, Tony Cream Shampoo.
Yes, even in the hardest water, Tony Cream Shampoo gives soft water shampooing that rinses away dandruff instantly. Leaves hair so soft, so smooth, so shining clean. Today, bring out the sparkling beauty of your hair with Tony Cream Shampoo. Get the handy tube or jar. Tony Cream Shampoo. It's for you.
Gee, Ethelbert, you're wonderful.
I am?
You really are, Ethelbert, yeah?
Well, gee, I don't know. I had to get my life saved.
Oh, no. You saved your own life.
I did?
Certainly. You taught me that a criminal always returns to the scene of the crime, and that's what saved you.
Hey, that's right.
Say, tell me, Ethelbert, why did Buddy kill his brother?
One of the two most commonest motives there is. Money.
The money that was in the cigarette box?
You deduced correctly. Buddy had to hide that money fast the night we went to interview him, and the first place he seen turned out to be said cigarette box, which I swiped.
Remarkable, Ethelbert, remarkable.
But, Casey, you'll have to get along without me.
Why? Why, Ethelbert? What do you mean?
I've decided to drop my detective course in favor of something more refined.
Refined? What?
They're going to give me credit toward my diploma for those detecting lessons I took, so I switched over to how to identify well-known wildflowers. Here's lesson 1 right here.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is directed by John Dietz. Tonight's story, written by Harry Ingram, and is based on the fictional character of Flash Gun Casey, created by George Harmon Cox. Original music by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison as the Blue Note pianist. Bill Cullen asking you to listen again next week at the same time to another exciting adventure of Crime Photographer, and also inviting you to listen to This Is Nora Drake, radio's thrilling serial romance, heard every Monday through Friday, 2:30 p.m. New York time, over most of these stations. Both of these programs brought to you each week by Tony Home Permanent, the wave that gives that natural look, and the new Tony Cream Shampoo for soft water shampooing even in the hardest water. And now stay tuned for the Hallmark Playhouse featuring Meredith Wilson in And There I Stood with My Piccolo, which follows immediately over most of these CBS stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
This I believe. Marjorie Finn Brown is an Army wife. She married her husband, who was a football star at West Point, the day after his graduation in 1934. When he was sent to Japan with our Army of Occupation after World War II, she packed their household goods, took their daughters, they only had 4 at the time, and moved to Tokyo. Later, in Kyoto, she got a job on a Japanese newspaper. There, she got to know the Japanese people in a way not usually possible for outsiders, and in doing so, reinforced the tolerant creed she now expresses.
Stating one's beliefs in public is a hazardous proposition. I'm depressingly aware of the gap separating what I believe from what I practice. Nevertheless, I find my beliefs, if not my practices, contained in the principles I've tried to pass on to my 5 children, These are the principles I feel have helped me most during my life. I believe in God, I always have. I believe that He made us, that we are His children, that we belong to Him. His plan in making us was truly democratic. Each of us has a soul, separate, distinct, unique in its capabilities. Because of this unique quality, every person has a contribution to make. The contribution varies, of course. There are those who will sew seams and make bread, others who will build bridges and rule countries. Whatever the contribution may be, honesty decrees that we be completely ourselves. In this lies our chance for wholeness and sanity, for if I try to conform to the shifting standards of public approval, I add up to nothing. I'm the sum of nothing, neither fish, fowl, nor good red meat, and I was meant to be something, the person that oftentimes can be of help to others. This, to me, is a satisfaction more enduring than money or pleasure. I don't subscribe to the theory that money and pleasure are evil. They're good, but not good enough. To make them primary goals in life is to lay ourselves open to a danger more insidious than atomic wars or foreign isms. One swift way to fall apart at the seams is to keep a weather eye eternally focused on the dollar sign, the what's in it for me, the desire to get something for nothing. I believe you get nothing for nothing. The things I value most in my life I've worked for. Invariably, the satisfaction came in a direct ratio to the effort expended, and sometimes, oddly enough, the byproducts were more important than the end result. The reason for this may be that work makes us dig deep into our reserves and talents, forcing the door of our minds wide open. Opportunity need never knock, not even once. It can enter freely like a wholly delightful but unexpected guest. I hope my children will have a strong faith, that they'll believe in work and the necessity to live elastically with a sense of proportion. Life isn't static. Every minute requires an adjustment between what I'd like to be doing and what circumstances require me to do. Every minute I'm becoming something I wasn't the minute before. The follies I decry so vigorously this year, I may easily embrace the next. Yesterday's mishaps can, with time, assume an irresistibly comic aspect. For this reason I believe in laughter, large quantities of it. Not the snigger, the giggle, nor the smirk, but the laughter that comes from the realization that I am, after all, a pretty small potato, and life poses all sorts of preposterous problems. Besides telling me when to laugh and when to be serious, a sense of proportion tells me how I should spend my time and money, which decision I should make, why humility best becomes me. It gives me an infallible criteria for an appreciation of beauty. Like a yardstick, it measures the things all people share in common. For despite outward differences, we are all, black, yellow, and white, all tenant farmers in this beautiful, ridiculous world. None of us are landowners. This plot of green on which we live and grow is not given free. The mortgage is paid when we live creatively, to the best of our abilities, and grow in the likeness of Christ. This I believe.
That was Marjorie Finn Brown, author of Over a Bamboo Fence. She lives with her husband, who is an Army colonel, and their 5 daughters, at West Point, New York.
Crime does not pay.
Nothing doing, Dutch, period.
What?
Listen, Fatty. What I've got, I keep until I know it's safe to turn it over.
You are saying that Dutch Joyner, he isn't safe?
I'm saying you're not so bright if you don't know when the heat's on.
I know. No stupid Yankee tells Dutch when there is trouble. Just so. You give to me the diamonds. They will be safe.
Keep your pants on, Dutch boy. I'm making no deliveries till Ollie knows what's cooking. So, Smarty, you want your share of this delivery? You get on a train and come to Joe with me.
All the way I should go from Cape Town to Johannesburg. Somebody is crazy.
Yeah, crazy I am. Crazy like a fox. You want to keep your deal? You know what to do. Come to Joe and you'll find Ollie there, and Runner, and me. And the sparklers. That's the story, period.
In the interest of good citizenship and law enforcement, we present Crime Does Not Pay, based on the famous Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer series of short subjects. In just a moment, you will hear Diamonds Trumped, starring Ralph Meeker. Now, Crime Does Not Pay, starring Ralph Meeker as Yank Sadburn in Diamond's Trunk. The story begins in South Africa. Up in the Transvaal, a good many miles from Cape Town and the sea, is Johannesburg, the city that's an odd combination of the modern and the frontier, where native and Boer and British mingle. There in a district which looked more than a little like the towns of our own West in the days of the bad men was Keeper's Bar. This was a rendezvous for certain gentlemen of roughish exterior, but decidedly slick and sophisticated ideas on the subject of making a living. One of these gentlemen was Ollie Carstairs. To him, at his table, came another, known merely as Runner.
Ollie, okay to talk?
Why not?
Just wanted to be sure.
So talk.
Went so smooth it almost scared me.
You scared?
Oh, I don't care if there's a hitch once in a while, see, but when everything works perfect, I always think of that vacation I took stateside on account of the stoolie. That job went easy like two.
This one I planned, so it went good.
Perfect. How that dumb donkey ever got the rocks out of that mine, I'll never figure. Everybody gets searched on the way out and all that.
Yeah, I've been there, I know. And that monkey ain't so dumb.
Yeah. So, he turns the corner on a button of 7, see?
Yeah.
I gives him the high sign. He walks past like he don't know 1 from 2, see? I figures maybe it's the wrong character. Then, boop! Right in front of me, this.
You opened it?
Natch. There's 5 big stones in there. They're gonna be buttes after they've been cut and polished.
Okay. The fella said 4, he gives us 5. We pay for 5 next time he does better. What's wrong, Runner?
Big ears. Next table.
So?
Yeah. So?
Think he caught anything?
He's practically crawling on your back.
Okay. Look, I'll take the bag. Finish your drink. Get up. Walk around behind him. When you got him between us, whistle. I'll take it from there. We know he's there?
I think so, but he ain't budging.
Okay. Let's do it.
Here I go.
Okay, big ears, what do you think you're listening to?
Yeah, Snoopy, speak up.
You're crowding me, fellas.
Good old customer, ain't you?
You want us to take care of him?
I doubt if that'll be necessary.
I'll be the judge of that.
No doubt you will. Where do you want to hold court? It's a trifle noisy in here.
Yeah, he's asking for it.
You sure are, big ears. Start walking.
Which way?
The back way. Get moving, step it up.
I'm not too familiar with this place. Just a stranger in town, you know.
You follow Runner.
Hiya, Runner.
This way, Snoopy.
Check.
Okay. Now, who are you?
Why? You want to identify my body?
Answer the question.
The name is Sadburn. My pals call me Yank. And tell Runner to stop shoving that piece into my ribs. I have no intention of making trouble.
Shut up. Speak when you're spoken to.
You heard the man, Sadburn. Now then, what did you hear back in there?
Only what I heard down below in Cape Town. You're in the diamond business. Your name is Ollie Carstairs. This is your boy, Runner.
Shall I give it to him now, Ollie?
Keep talking, Sadburn.
Well, there's not much else to talk about. It's obvious to anyone who knows that Runner has just delivered some goods, as the British say, from Kimberley. That you're getting a shipment ready, and I could be useful to you.
Yeah? Which way? Dead or alive?
Well, from my point of view, the answer to that one is obvious.
Look, so far you've been talking about me. Let me hear about you.
Ollie, you gonna let him...
Shut up, Runner. Let the man talk.
Ancient American custom, for which many thanks, I got out of the States on a freighter. And with a tip that someone was operating on this end in the business, which I've had some small experience.
Small?
Well, I did 5 years for it, when some stoolie tipped the dock boys and picked up the usual reward.
You know better now?
Better than to trust a stoolie? Yeah. Or anyone who might be a stoolie. Also, my cellmate was an old geezer who knew all the tricks. He taught me the best of them.
Why my business? Why not something else?
I'm interested in a big deal. I want real dough. Diamonds are big dough, but small enough to make easy handling.
Ollie, how long are you going to let this bum talk?
Look, this guy is a fellow American, Runner. The least we can do is let him talk a while with all the news from home.
In fact, we might even buy him a drink.
I think I'd like that. It's much better talking in the light than out here in a filthy alley. But the drinks are on me, gentlemen. Shall we go back inside?
So the dumb monkey is happy with the dough I give him, and we got a beautiful deal.
Good enough, Runner.
When do I get to go to Kimberly, Ollie?
You don't. That's my part of the operation.
Runner knows the mine country, Yank. And our contacts know him.
Well, what happens if anything happens to Runner? Nobody lasts forever.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, and I ain't washed up yet, you know.
Okay, sorry. Just asking.
Yeah, you asked too much too many times.
Yeah, I noticed that too, Yank. Aren't you satisfied working here with me?
I want to do something. I want a decent share when the payoff comes.
You are an eager beaver.
Well, how about it, Ollie? Do I get something to do?
What do you know about Cape Town, Yank?
I can find my way around any place where they talk English.
Fair enough.
Ollie, you ain't going to send it...
I'm running this end, remember? And I think we need a new face in Cape Town. The place is lousy with stoolies. Now, Yank here's had some experience with stoolies, huh?
You can say that again. When do I go, Ollie?
Next couple of days, no rush. Now, Smitty's due in there tonight. He won't show up at the contact point for a day or two.
What do I do with Smitty? Give him the sack?
Not exactly. Smitty is one of the boys who operates over here. He's our contact with Dutch Signer.
I don't like it, Ollie. You're giving this character the whole layout.
Stick to your knitting, Runner. I said I'm running this end.
Okay.
Well, where does this Dutchman fit in?
He's second mate on the ship between the Cape and the State. Catch.
I catch. What's he look like?
Oh, so fat he has to have his belts made order. But he's smart and tough. He doesn't touch a thing unless Smitty okays it first. So the day after tomorrow, you grab the train for the Cape, see? And find Smitty. You can't miss him either.
This joint changed management?
Not in 10 years.
New bouncer?
Obviously. Another drink?
Yeah, might as well. Fill her up again.
Right.
Heard a lot about the other bouncer.
That so?
Yeah. Heard he was a little guy. Knew all the tricks.
He knew a few. Drink, mister.
What, you rushing me?
You ask too many questions.
I never asked the little guy's name.
I never noticed.
Heard it was Smitty.
You hear a lot. Where?
Up in Joe.
Smitty's gone.
That I never heard.
Few days ago, he had visitors. They came to call for Smitty. He won't be back for quite a while. If you know what I mean, friend. Oh, it's you again, eh?
Yeah. Thanks. Am I seeing double on one drink?
Well, I'd say no.
Then all of that down at the other end of the bar is just one man?
Just one man.
How does he get around? By trailer truck?
By ship. All the way to the United States and back. Several times a year.
Oh. Smitty had a friend like that.
I know. The fat fellow is interested in Smitty's other friends.
Would you care to bring us together?
We are together, my friend.
So I see.
It is very foolish. You ask about me, I ask about you. Because we both miss Schmitty. So we take a table and talk together, yeah?
We take a table and talk together? Yeah.
So that is the story, my friend. In your country, we make a delivery. The government agents, they pick it up. Also the delivery boy. They pick him up. Over here, Smitty, he has gone away. Now I think it is time we make a new system. 9?
If you want to stay in business, we do.
So. Good. I know exactly how it will be done. You will give to me the little sack with the little stones. I will take care of everything.
Nothing doing, Dutch.
Huh? But this is stupid. Ridiculous. Ollie will not like this.
Nothing doing, Dutch. Period.
What?
Listen, Fatty. What I've got, I keep until I know it's safe to turn it over.
You are saying that Dutch Ziner he is not safe?
I'm saying you're not so bright if you don't know when the heat's on.
I know. No stupid Yankee tells Dutch when there is trouble. Just so. You give to me the diamonds, they will be safe.
I'm making no deliveries till Ollie knows what's cooking. So, Smarty, you want your share of this delivery? You get on a train and come to Joe with me.
All the way I should go from Cape Town to Johannesburg. Somebody is crazy.
Yeah, crazy I am. Crazy like a fox. You want to keep your deal, you know what to do. Come to Joe. You'll find Ollie there and Runner and me and the Sparklers. That's the story, period.
Okay, Dutch, stop beefing.
Yeah.
Yank was right. We need a meeting. Smitty's in the cab. The last load is knocked off on the other side. For all we know, you tipped off the government boys for the percentage.
Me? Oh, you're crazy.
Hey, Ollie, the fat boy's sore.
All right, easy does it. We fight, nobody makes a dime. Easy now.
Yeah. Sorry.
The big job is getting this stuff into the States.
This is news.
Save it. What's on your mind, Yank?
Anybody here know anything about medicine?
Not me.
First aid, yeah. Also, once I fixed a broken leg at sea.
How about you, Runner?
Shut your trap.
I take it that means no.
You can take it.
Keep talking, Yank.
Well, I don't know very much, but I do know this. That a heavy layer of fat can be a good hiding place.
This is an insult. You accuse me?
Not accuse you, Dutch. Just use you.
Wait a minute. I don't get this.
It's a cinch and beautiful. We send this shipment into the States in Dutch.
But you want me to swallow?
Who said swallow? See? Razor sharp and sterilized before I came over here. We boil the stones, see? No infection that way. We make a little slit. In they go. We patch it up. Dutch takes them out himself.
9. This is impossible.
Impossible? Nuts. Why, this is the neatest idea since the racket began. Nobody will think of touching that big fat belly of yours. Yank, it's great.
Great. It's not his belly.
I gotta hand it to you, Yank. It's perfect.
9. I get out of here.
You stay till Ollie says you go or I'll blow your belly off.
Use your head, Dutch. You want your dough, don't you? And I guarantee it won't hurt any more than a scratch. Ollie?
Take off your shirt, Dutch, and lie down. Shall we go in, doctor?
In just a moment, Crime Does Not Pay will continue with Diamonds Trumped. Now we continue with Crime Does Not Pay, starring Ralph Meeker as Yank Sadburn in Diamonds Trumped. Much to his own surprise, Dutch found that the business of using his person as a repository for uncut diamonds was barely painful. In fact, he made a few jokes about the sudden increase in value of himself on the hoof, so to speak, and then proceeded on his way back to Cape Town and his ship. Up in Johannesburg, the three conspirators at that end, Ollie, Runner, and of course Yank, waited anxiously for word of the result. It came in the customary form of the yellow cablegram.
It's here, Yank. Runner.
So what's he say?
Everything's copacetic, I assume.
Get this. Lost weight last night. Reduced but gained in other aspects. Large amount. Returning 4 weeks. Signed, Dutchman.
Yippee, we're in. How can we miss?
Unless Dutch takes a 9-day diet.
Don't even think that.
It was a great idea, Yank. You're solid.
Thanks, boss.
But, well, it's the same old question. We flood the market stateside with these stones. We'll not only knock down the price, the federal boys won't stop at anything.
Not even Dutch's belly?
Not even his belly. But it's a new twist at any rate.
Want some other ideas?
Shoot.
All right. I figure it this way. There are 2 ways of getting at things like this. Either you find something new, or you go back to something so old that everybody figures it's so corny nobody would dare to use it.
I don't get it.
I do. Keep talking, Yank.
Look, we just pulled a good deal with Dutch. It was new. All right. Now the switch. The oldest gag in the world.
Now I get it. New to old. Nobody figured.
Check. How about, shoes?
That one?
Mean like stashing the stones on their rubber heels and walking in on $1 million?
Exactly. And 3 or 4 other angles like that. We go to work now. Then when Dutch gets in, we're all set to ship him right back.
Hey, what you taking the soles off of them things for?
Nothing to it. A switch, to use your expression, on the rubber heels. The hollow part of a woman's wedgie.
Holds a lot more than the heels, too, huh?
Check. There. It's off. Now load it up. Only be careful not to mark the outside of the shoe. We'll have to seal the covering of the upper back, the edge of the sole, as if the shoe was new.
What's funny, Runner?
I was just thinking. Can you picture Dutch waddling into port wearing shoes like this? Oh, brother.
Let's get the floor of this plane up, Runner.
It's coming.
Now, watch your nails. We'll have to keep them straight so as we can get the board back in the floor, see?
Yeah. It'd be great if they switched planes on us. This one stays in Africa.
I covered that. This is the only plane at the airport that'll fly in the morning.
Yeah? How you so sure?
You'll be surprised to know how much engine trouble the mechanics are going to find when they test the other planes tomorrow.
What? Boy, oh boy, you sure think of everything.
Something is rotten, and not in Denmark, my friends. Something is very rotten.
Stop sputtering, Dutch, and talk straight.
What went wrong?
Every one of the stones from the belly, picked up from the dealers. Every one found. For what I take them in, eh? For what?
Something or someone is wrong someplace.
Maybe Dutch drinks too much. You've got a loose tongue when you drink, fat boy.
I do nothing. I get the stones where they must go. It's enough. Anybody says I am stool pigeon is liar. And I make him pay with knife. Understand? With knife.
There they are, fellas. See? Biggest lot yet.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
It's too many. No one can get in so many.
Why not? You're reducing Dutch?
9. It's just too many.
Maybe not.
Oh. Another idea, Yank?
Could be.
Ideas. And all the stones they are picked up.
Yeah, but not until after they get into the States. I think somebody's tipping the job on the other end.
What's the idea, Yank?
Look, we buy a car. A little English car.
And drive it home?
We ship it home.
9. Seat cushions is no good. This they know about.
All right. How about the bumpers?
What you mean, bumpers?
Tape to the inside of the bumpers, maybe?
No. Really inside the bumper. We hollow them out, cachet the stones, seal up the outside, and we even pay duty on the car.
Ah, it's crazy. Who'd we ship it to?
We take it ourselves.
Ourselves?
Yeah. A Dutch's ship. 3 Americans come home with a car they picked up in Africa. Simple and neat.
I couldn't go.
Trouble, Ollie?
Check. A small heist job some time ago. I broke out. I got away, but I go back, they grab me. No thanks.
Well, then Runner and I could go. 2 Americans return home and so forth and so on. How's about it? Want to go to the States again, Runner?
And why not? With all the dough we got waiting for us?
Okay, Ollie?
It's all right with me.
Yeah, maybe this one, it works.
Good enough. Look, we'll buy a car tomorrow, then we'll drive it around a while and dirty it up so it looks like it's been in darkest Africa. And then, all aboard for home.
Here they are. My 2 passengers for their car, which in the hold has been...
Very good, Mr. Signer. This way, gentlemen.
Do many people bring cars back with them, officer?
We don't have to clear too many through. Lots of people still think American cars are the best.
And they're sure slick-looking American cars.
But this little one gets 30 miles to the gallon. More sometimes.
Not bad, but wait till it breaks down. Here we are. This is it, isn't it?
This is it. She's a beauty, you can believe me.
Every man to his own choice, I always say. Let's fill out the papers. How much does the car weigh?
Runner, do you know?
Nah, how should I know?
How about you, Signer? Don't you check weight when you load a cargo like this?
9, only cubic-footed. That's all.
Then we'll have to weigh the thing.
Where? Is this going to hold us up?
Scales at the end of the pier. Is the jalopy in shape to be driven?
Why not? Keys in the lock and all.
Man, the engine sounds nice, don't it?
Yeah, I suppose. Careful, watch those dollies.
That?
Why you weigh this, sir?
Drive right onto that platform if you don't mind.
You bet.
Cut the engine, please. Dave, check this baby jalopy, will you?
Right. Can't weigh much, half a pound, maybe.
Electric scales?
Could be. What do you get, Dave?
This I don't like. Not at all I don't like.
They're in the bumper, Marty.
Stand where you are, gentlemen.
Hey, what's the big idea?
This is foolishness. What do you mean by this?
You're under arrest and you're covered, so don't move, either of you.
Quite a shipment in that bumper, Marty. The X-ray shows them clear as a bell.
X-rays? You said you'd weigh the car.
Yeah, we gave it a complete physical examination. That's no scale. It's a setup for an X-ray machine. The car's impounded as evidence, and you 2 are under arrest. Glad to see you back home, Sadburn. Nice work. Very nice indeed.
A stool pigeon. A stool pigeon he was all the time.
So that's why the stones got picked up inside the country. You dirty double-crossing. Wait till Ollie hears. He'll have you taken care of.
No stool pigeon, gentlemen. Just an agent of the United States Customs.
What?
You'd better come quietly, both of you, as your friend Ollie did.
Ollie?
This you do not make me believe.
The police and Joe picked him up the day after we left. He held out some of the shipment on us, but they found the stones on him. He'll spend quite some time in South Africa, and then he'll finish out his term back here. You tried hard, gentlemen, but you didn't really think you'd get away with it now, did you?
Crime does not pay. Ralph Meeker, who was starred as Yank Sadburn in Diamonds Trumped, will be back with you in just a moment. Now here in person is Ralph Meeker.
For the kind of crime we've outlined in this story, greed is a great motive. But of course, it's not only organized smugglers who involve themselves with beating the customs. This law-breaking practice is considered fair sport by many otherwise highly respectable citizens. And they are caught, almost inevitably. Caught through the same kind of clever operations, the use of the same kind of scientific detection you heard about a few minutes ago. So whether it's an old label sewed into a new fur coat, a bottle of perfume wrapped in a stocking and pushed into the toe of a shoe, or the kind of methods employed by Ollie, Dutch, and Runner, it'll be well to think twice. In fact, it will be necessary to think only once if what you think is the simple phrase, crime does not pay.
Thank you, Mr. Meeker. Crime Crime Does Not Pay is written by Ira Marion and directed by Marks D. Loeb, with music composed and conducted by John Gart. Technical advisor is Burton B. Turkis. The events, characters, and names used in the story you have just heard are fictitious. Any similarity is purely coincidental. This is Bob Williams speaking.
This I believe. Maria Augusta Trapp is the mother of 6 girls and 3 boys, world famous as the Trapp family singers. She was born in the Austrian Tyrol and now presides over a large farm and music camp at Stowe, Vermont. Hear now what Maria Trapp has called the heartpiece of her life's philosophy.
My husband and I had developed the habit of reading the Gospels together, and by taking literally what we had read, tried to shape our lives accordingly. One day, this is more than 20 years ago now, we came to the passage, "Unless you become like little children, you will not enter the kingdom of God." This word had not been completely new to us, but obviously we had never before tried to take this literally. Somewhat puzzled, we looked at each other. Just exactly what does he mean? How can one grow down after one has grown up once? "Isn't it funny?" said my husband. "All I can remember from my childhood days is this. In kindergarten, they told me I'm not a baby anymore. I'm going to be a big boy. In grade school, they said I wasn't in kindergarten anymore, and I was going to be a big boy. In high school, they reminded me that I was not one of the little ones from grade school, but a real big boy. And after all this encouragement, the big boy takes the Gospels, which say that big boys don't go to heaven, only little ones. Now, what does he mean?" The one thing we decided on that day was that this passage definitely cannot have referred to the outside appearance, such as size. It must have meant the mentality, the inner make-up of a child. With a house full of children growing up around us, we resolved to make it a special study, to go into real research work on how to become like little children. Very soon we found out some intrinsic differences between the minds of the average grown-up and the minds of little ones. What struck us most was the discovery that a child has no past and no future. It only lives in the present moment. But this wholeheartedly. Just by watching our babies we found, if they ate, they ate. If they slept, they slept. If they played, they played. And whatever they did with their whole heart, with their whole little being. Not so a grown-up. While he's doing one thing, he's worrying either about the past, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I say that? Or about the future. And how will it go next month, next year? What am I going to do if this and this should happen? Slowly it dawned on us that only a childlike soul can fulfill the first and foremost commandment. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with thy whole heart and with thy whole soul and with thy whole mind. Because the grown-up has forgotten how to be wholehearted about anything. While he does one thing, he cares already about another. He is truly a split personality. Years went by. Watching our 7 girls and 3 boys, we learned much from them. With a grateful heart we had read, "Unless you become like little children." This allows for time. We didn't know then that it would mean a whole life's program, to unlearn, to grow down. This life's philosophy prompts you to be simple and direct. It keeps you away from all sophistication, but most of all, it teaches you to live now, at this present moment, and do what this present moment asks of you. That means the end of all worrying. It also means the beginning of never-ending happiness. This I believe. If we become like little children, in the sense that Christ meant it, we should once more turn this valley of tears into paradise.
There the creed of Maria Augusta Trapp. In addition to her concert career, which has taken her to almost every part of the world, she is the author of 2 books, the most recent of which is Yesterday, today, and forever.
Calling all detectives. 3 men marked for death. 2 have already died. Can the third be saved? That is the problem on this page from my casebook. The casebook of Jerry Browning, private detective. The man in my office had gray hair and gray skin to match. His name was Arnold Warwick, and his problem was simple.
Mr. Browning, I'm scared to death.
Take it easy, Mr. Warwick. Whatever you're afraid of, it can't touch you here. Warwick sat down.
You don't understand, Mr. Browning. Martin Cantrell is a demon. There's no other word for it. He's killed 2 of us already. He said he'd kill me, and somehow he'll find a way of doing it.
I tried to look impressed. Whom did he kill, and why? Warwick didn't like the question.
It goes back a long way. Do we have to go into that?
Yes, we do, if you want my help. It took a while, but I finally got the story. Martin Cantrell was a chemist who discovered a new cheap way of extracting vital chemicals from seawater. He sold his patent to a syndicate composed of Warwick and 2 others. Not to put it too delicately, the 3 men had cheated Warwick, framed him on a charge of having misused corporation funds, and had him sent to jail.
He swore he'd get even with us as soon as he was released, and he did. John Maller got the first death letter. He died 3 months later. Cantrell waited a year before sending the letter to Bruce Davies, but Bruce died of poisoning only 2 weeks later. Now it's my turn.
Have you received a death letter? Warwick nodded.
Cantrell waited over 3 years before sending it, but now it's here. Mr. Browning, you've got to find it. Tell him I'll make restitution, do anything, if he'll spare my life.
A chemist who had been falsely sent to jail killed 2 of the men who had framed him and sent a death threat to the third. I drove the terrified Warwick home, told him to stay indoors until further notice. Mr. Warwick, I'd like to see that death threat letter. The letter was written in a neat, precise hand and came right to the point. 2 have died. You have no more chance to escape me than Joe Evold had. The letter was signed Cantrell in a bold hand. I turned to Warwick. Mr. Warwick, you told me the other 2 men were named Maller and Davies. What's this reference to Joe Evold? Warwick smiled nervously.
I checked into that. Cantrell was always a great reader of crime news. That was his hobby. Joe Evold was a gangster, killed a policeman, was cornered and shot to death in St. Louis.
I shrugged. Okay. I'll take this letter, Mr. Warwick, and try to locate Cantrell.
Tell him I'll pay the money back if he'll leave me alone.
I don't have much sympathy for you, Mr. Warwick, but I have none for a murderer. Tracing a man who's been in hiding for over 4 years isn't the world's easiest job. It was no trick to locate his wife and children. They lived in a small town just outside of the city. She supported the children by working in a dime store. Assured me she hadn't seen her husband since he was released from prison. I believed that, since the police had her under almost constant watch since the first murder 4 years ago. It was a cold trail, and I didn't have much hope of succeeding where an entire police department had failed. Still, I tried. Did a man by the name of Martin Cantrell work here?
Sure, 4 years ago, for 2 weeks. Are you another one of those cops looking for him?
Yeah, I guess I am. Never mind. It happened that same night. A flash from police headquarters that Arnold Warwick was dead. Lieutenant Dawson of Homicide stopped giving instructions long enough to tell me the details.
We found him in the living room, Jerry. Not a mark on him. But just look at his face.
I looked and saw a face still contorted in terror. Cantrell said he'd get him. I guess he did. Warwick was right. The man must be a demon.
He won't get away. I've got every road and every station blocked. Sooner or later, he'll show himself and we'll get him.
Just like the guy Joe Evold, eh? Dawson stared at me.
I don't know what you're talking about. Does it have anything to do with this case?
I don't know. I guess not. Dawson was sure that Cantrell would show himself. But days passed and there was no sign of him. The newspapers gave the story a big play, especially after the autopsy reports could give no clue as to how Warwick died. The papers ran pictures of Cantrell and trotted out all the old yarns about mysterious poisons that leave no traces in the body. But even all the publicity didn't help reveal Cantrell's hiding place.
Jerry, I don't get it. Man has no money. He's got to eat and have a place to sleep, and he can't get either without working someplace. So where can it be?
I don't know, Dawson. Unless his wife is hiding him out. Dawson shook his head.
She's got a tiny 3-room flat above a store, no place in it to hide. He's not with his family, I guarantee that. Looks to me like he's clean vanished off the face of the earth.
Dawson, maybe he did just that. I went on back to my office, got out the letter Cantrell had sent Warwick, read it over again for maybe the 50th time. You have no more chance to escape me than Joe Ewald had. Strange comparison for a man to make. Even one who made a hobby of crime news. Why Joe Ewald? Why not any of 3 or 4 big crime stories that have made the papers in recent months? Why did Cantrell pick a name that not even a police lieutenant recognized? On a hunch, I went to the file room of the Evening Courier. I found the Joe Ewald story after a while, hidden on page 3 in the issue of August 18, 1 year ago. No wonder the name meant nothing to Dawson, but it meant a lot to me. I got out the death letter again, but this time I concentrated on the blurred postmark on the envelope. I couldn't make out the city or exact date of mailing, but I could just barely see the year stamp. A letter had been mailed last year, and by one of those strange accidents that happen once in a while, had taken over a year to arrive at its destination. And I was willing to bet that it had been mailed in St. Louis shortly after the Joe Ewald story was big news down there. Dawson and I went to St. Louis, and we located Martin Cantrell with practically no trouble at all. In a cemetery. He'd been living under an assumed name, but it was easy enough to track him by description. Maybe he'd meant to kill Warwick. Probably he did. But he died first in a rooming house fire. And what did kill Warwick? A heart attack, brought on by cumulative fear and tension. Like I said, there are many ways of dying, and being frightened to death is just as permanent as any. Listen next time to Calling All Detectives, mystery drama, mystery quiz, and a chance for you to match wits with yours truly, Jerry Browning, Private Detective.
I said, put that gun away, Joe. Stop him, Freddie.
He can't hear you, Smalley. He's busy singing. I've been playing you to sleep.
Hey, Baker. Baker.
He can't hear you neither. We rocked him off long ago.
Joe, listen, don't do it, please. I've got to take again. Anyway, you say, but don't push the switch on me. Don't.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest. Our fears less strong, our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the grave gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in Red Wheels. And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre. Our story by Jack Gordon is Red Wheels. The desert, flat and empty under a heavy night sky. Speeding along its only road is a large bus. Lulled by the hum of the tires, its smooth motion, the passengers sleep. All of them, except one.
Joe, hey, wake up. What? I said, wake up. What? Let me alone, will you? Let me sleep. Hey, Joe, you don't think nothing went wrong? You don't, do you? All right, I'm up. You know, kid, you got a face that talks too much. I want to make sure everything's all right, that's all, Joe. I want to make sure. This makes 3 times tonight. You got to make sure. Starting to get me, see? All right, now, I'll tell you once more. There ain't nobody following us. Okay? But there was. You said so yourself. There was at first. That was a couple of days ago. That was the newspaper said so, not me. Now, will you put that imagination of yours in mothballs? Nobody's following us. Nobody knows we killed them. And if they did, they'd probably be erecting a monument for us back in Denver this minute. So you just turn your nose against the window and watch the desert. Yeah, but it's pretty sand in the desert. But, Joe... So you turn your nose like I say. Yeah, Joe. You picked your lucky seat. You're in seat 7, ain't you? Yeah, sure, Joe. Well, turn around. Watch the sand in the desert. Yeah, that's right. And you found a penny. That's the sign you're always blabbing about. Sitting in seat 7 and found a penny. Lucky guy, that's you. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, so let me sleep, will you? Yeah, that's me, lucky guy. Only I can't rest since that night we gave it to Smalley. Look out of the window, Freddie. Okay. What time is it? It's almost 12. Smalley coming yet? Said he was going to be here at midnight. No, but the cop... What about him? Well, he keeps coming back like he's fishing for something here. He's just making the rounds. Don't you worry about him. I don't like it, Joe. There's a smell about it. Yeah, it stinks to me, too. Those 2 guys playing us for suckers. Baker and Smalley, a pair of shovel-foot dopes. Doing a little insurance on their own, and they won't cut us in on the take. Okay. Hey, maybe we just ought to go away, Joe. Set up our own system somewhere else. And let them get away with a double cross? You kidding? It's arranged perfect, ain't it? Baker out like a light in the other room from that Mickey. We use his gun, and we're 1,000 miles away when he fries for killing his best friend. Yeah, but Joe, don't forget me. I'm a jinx, I tell you. It'll backfire. Everything happens to me. Let's let it alone. Just stroke that lucky rabbit's foot you bought today, and I'll do the work. Hey, what's that? What? Smalley. Yeah, all right. Now, just get to that piano and play him a little lullaby. Hey, Joe, the cops go. Get to the piano, I said. Yeah. Maybe my luck switched because of the rabbit's foot. Hello, Smalley. We've been waiting for you. Is it? It's not so good. We ain't happy.
No?
No. The whole thing grizels me.
That's too bad. Where's Baker?
Do you think we'd sit around like a couple of stumps and let you collect all that protection without a peep?
I think you're getting too tall, Joe.
Only 5'8". That's 4 inches and 40 pounds weaker than you, Smalley. It's the same. Freddie and me. We want our share.
You got what's coming to you.
But you ain't got what's coming to you, Smalley. You see? This got you down to size.
Put that away, Joe.
Now you're 40 pounds, 4 inches. They'll make no difference.
I say, put that gun away, Joe. Stop him, Freddie.
Freddie can't hear you, Smalley. He's busy singing. I mean, playing you to sleep.
Hey, Baker. Baker.
He can't hear you neither. We rocked him off long ago.
Joe, listen, now, don't do it. I'll cut the tape again. Any way you say it. Don't push the switch on me. Don't.
Keep playing, Freddie, like nothing's happened.
I didn't figure on this kind of a cut.
I said keep playing, Freddie. Nothing's happened. I can't. All right, then just keep stroking your rabbit's foot. And it'll be okay. Let's see now. Oh, let's get out of here. It's only half done, kid. Let's plant the gun on Baker before we blow. Okay. There, he's beginning to stir in there. Let's get out. Hey, see, I told you the cop downstairs. Yeah, easy, kid, easy. That's perfect. Now they'll catch Baker just as he's getting up. So through the window and let the cops take over from here on out. Okay, kid, out you go. Come on. Stand up, boy. Breaking the door down. You keep stroking that rabbit's foot. You'll wear it out. Hey, the cop got in. So now we got a grandstand seat to watch the go. With Baker right in the middle. Now, Joe, let's beat it while we can. What do we want to look for trouble for? Come on. I gotta see. Here he comes, the lunk. Staggering out of the bedroom. Is he dopey from that stuff we give him? Jerk. You don't even know he's got that gun we planted on him. Please, Joe, I'm dancing around like crazy inside. Let's get out of here before they decide to look this way. This ain't smart, Joe. Okay. I've had my fun. Let's blow. Make it Hollywood, Freddie. There's a lot of money out there. Easy picker. Oh, they'll come after us, Joe. I got to see it. Don't be a dope. What do they want us for? They got Baker, ain't they? They'll look for us as witnesses. Yeah. They know they're well rid of Smalley. All they want is a goat. We left him in the stable back there. Yeah, but the papers. Never mind the papers, Sid. Sure, they'd say they want us around. But if we ain't there, we ain't. Yeah. Hey, look, a penny. Pick it up, kid. Yeah. Brings good luck, Joe. You see? Now we got nothing to worry about. What time does your next bus leave for L.A., ma'am?
One's leaving in about 5 minutes.
Okay, 2 for L.A.
That's 21.5 out of 25. Here you are. Thank you.
Come on, kid.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah?
You got a penny? What for? I want to weigh myself. I'll get a fortune ticket. What about that penny you picked up? Oh, no, Joe. That's a good luck penny. I mustn't spend that.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, gee, thanks.
What's the good news, kid?
It says...
Okay, so go on. What does it say?
But it says you're going to take a long, unexpected trip. Say, that's pretty good. That's right, ain't it? Maybe it don't mean that. Maybe it means the cops will get us and...
Finish reading it.
Okay. It says you are too easily taken in and influenced by those around you.
What are you looking at me for?
Nothing, Joe.
Come on, kid. There's our bus pulling in. Well, there she is. Let's get on, huh?
Joe, let's wait for the next one, Joe.
Are you nuts? A 3-hour wait? What for?
That's got red wheels.
Pretty, ain't it?
Well, red means danger. Let's take the next bus, huh?
You dope. Stroke your rabbits.
Oh, but Joe, I got a feeling.
Good, so have I. And it says let's get to L.A. double quick and pick up some of that gold dust. Hey, driver.
Yeah?
When do we pull into L.A.?
Day after tomorrow. About this time.
Thanks. Come on, Freddie. The red wheels is on the outside.
Okay.
7 and 8. That's us. Give me a bag. I'll shove it up here.
There we are. Joe. Hey, Joe.
Now what?
Hey, let me sit by the window, will you?
You can't see the wheels anyway.
Yeah, but...
Oh, I get it. It's the number, huh?
Yeah.
You want the lucky 7. Oh, sure, kid. Sit and see 7 if it'll make you happy.
Red wheels. Hey, are you still up? I wish I could sleep.
Oh, look out the window. The night and the sand. You're not off.
Yeah, okay, Joe. Out the window. The night and the sand. Night and sand. Night and sand. Sand. Sand like a gray smoke screen. Hiding us from the rest of the world. No eyes watching us. We're way away. Red wheels don't mean beans. That's nothing. I'm no pincushion for that lady Luck. She's on my side. I add it all up. Rabbit's foot, that's 1. Finding a penny, that's 2. And seat 7, 3. That's 3 against red wheels. 3 against red wheels. What's that? Oh, no. No, it can't be. Hey, Joe. Joe, wake up. Oh, he said not to wake him. He said he wanted to sleep. But the bus. Look, it's still moving, Joe. Speeding over the gray clouds of sand, and the driver's seat is empty. The bus is speeding, and there ain't no driver.
A bus with red wheels on a desert road. Where can a bus be going without a driver? Where would you expect to go after murder at midnight? now, back to Murder at Midnight and Red Wheels. Back of the bus, speeding through the desert, without a driver.
How could a bus move without a driver? It's crazy. Just close your eyes, Freddie. You're dreaming. Now, when you open your eyes again, you'll see. Now, straight ahead and... See? There it is. No. Oh, I'm imagining things because I'm scared. Joe.
Hey, what's eating you now?
Look, Joe, look. Coppers? No, worse. It's his bus. It's moving. Well, what'd you expect?
Now, look, Brainy Pond.
Yeah, that's just the point. Look. Straight ahead there.
Look. What the devil?
That's it, the devil. The devil's riding with us. He's holding the wheel. That's why we can't see him. You see, there's no driver.
Holy smokes,
I don't get it. What's making it move? Something we can't see, Joe. Something.
Shut up.
The bus has red wheels, Joe, remember? Red burns like fire. Can take you to only one place. That's where we're going. Maybe some of these dopes sleeping can dream a way out. Hey, everybody, wake up! Wake up! What's all the racket?
Darling, don't cry.
What's the big idea? I'll tell you the big idea. Look straight front and see for yourself. Holy fuck! There's no diver. What's making it go?
Wait a minute, everybody. Don't get excited.
What do you mean, don't get excited?
If you listen to me, I'll tell you. There wasn't anybody awake.
I'll tell you who's driving this bus. It's the devil. And that means... You know where we're going?
Hey, you're creating a riot, idiot. Let me talk.
Sure, talk. That's just what we need. This bus is riding us all where we got to do a lot of fast talking. Dead people got to tell why they should be led into heaven or to that other place. Hey, what the devil? The devil, see? We talk about him all the time, the devil. That's the guy we're going to have to see, I know. I know there's no other place for me. It must be the same for all of you. I get talking through your hat. We're not dead, so ain't we? Now we're on a bus. And the bus has got no driver. And the bus has got red wheels. And if you look outside, you can't see a thing but clouds of sand. Nothing, just a bus moving. And if you add up what you did during your lifetime, I'll bet you'll find there was plenty wrong. Hey, you, fat boy. How'd you do it, with an axe, maybe?
I don't pay any attention to him, everyone. If you just listen to me...
And you, lady. Small little dame with a gray hair. What's the devil got against you?
And you. What's laying so heavy on your chest that you won't let me talk? Yeah. I'll tell you. I was...
Why do you keep jabbering? Nothing to get excited. There's plenty to get excited about. Go ahead, kid.
No, Freddie. When someone gives you the green light to yap, that means to shut up.
We put on a good show, Joe and me. We did it with music.
I say button up.
No odds now, Joe. I can sing in any key. What's the difference now if he is a cop? We're all going to the same place.
Say shut up.
I played Smiley a lullaby. Joe rocked him to sleep with a bullet.
Freddie.
With a plain everyday gun, no fancy trimming.
You're 2% idiot.
Am I, Joe? Am I? Maybe I was once, but no more. I'm not going to take what's around waiting for us. You dopes can stick here like pigs in a slaughter pen if you want, but me, I'm finding a way out.
Hey, come back. Hey, stop it, somebody. Hey, stop it.
That's it. Door open just for me. You chumps can try where you're going, but not me. Don't stop it. Hey, I made it. I gotta run now. Run. Space. Pack space between me and the devil wings. Wait. Oh, get you tired. Yeah. Hard on those stand. Get you tired, awful tired. Now that the bus is gone. I'm free of it. I'm alone now.
That's right, mister. You and me. We're all alone.
Sure. Hey, who are you?
I'm Mr. Rat.
Mr.
Yeah, Mr. Desert Rat. I've been here 22 years. Fell off a bus just like you. And been wandering around ever since.
Oh, how? Why don't you get out of here?
Because once you jump off, there ain't no other bus will stop to pick you up. You're all alone.
Hey, Mr. Rat.
Yes, Freddie?
Where you going?
Gotta keep wandering. Keep wandering.
The desert. Sand and nothing else for 22 years. Maybe another bus will pick me up. Maybe I shouldn't have jumped. Maybe it might have been better the way it was before I changed it. No, there is something else. A tavern. Come on, Freddie. Pick him up and lay him down. Let's get to those people. Oh, nice town. Got a road, 1, 2, 3. About 5 buildings. Hey! Hey, anybody around? Anybody home? Well, there must be. There in that saloon there. Oh, brother, could I use a drink? A beer, yeah, that's for me. Hey! Hey! What happened, everybody? What? Hey, no, stop that. Stop that song. That's what I was playing when... Stop it, do you hear? Where are you? Through this door, maybe another room. Stop it, I said. Stop it. Oh, no, not again. A bus without a driver. A piano without anybody playing it. Just the keys moving by themselves. I gotta get out of here. Hey, somebody. Ain't nobody here. Ain't there nobody? They're coming from that house now. That last one on the road. Maybe this time. All right. I told you to stop it. Still nobody. Still. Okay, if you won't stop it, I'll stop it for you. You got it. You hear? You got it. Leave him again.
Hello, Freddie.
You? Oh, can't be you. You're dead.
And what did you expect to find in a ghost town?
But you can't be.
Don't seem to like the music either. That sounded pretty good to you a couple of days ago. Want a drink, Freddie?
What kind of drink?
A Mickey? Like you and Joe gave Baker before you knocked me off? You shouldn't have done it, Freddie.
I didn't have nothing to do with it, Smalley, honest. It was Joe.
Have a drink, Freddie. You must be awful thirsty.
Nah.
I know I'm thirsty with that slug in my gut.
Now keep away from me, Smalley.
So why not let's have one together? A nice double Mickey.
I said keep clear of me.
You're scared, Freddie, aren't you? You're afraid of the dark and the desert and being here alone with me in a ghost town.
Joe?
When Joe isn't around, you get scared, kid, don't you? Too bad Joe isn't here to give you a little gumption. Fight me, Freddie. Get me, Freddie, or I'll get you first.
No, honest, Smalley, honest. I ain't got nothing against you. We gotta stick together here. It's dark.
Now, don't play with rats. I squash them.
Now keep away from me, I tell you. No.
Where are you going to run to, Freddie? There ain't no place to hide. Not here.
I got a gun.
That makes you a big shot again, don't it?
I'll let you have it, Smalley. I swear I will.
That gun sort of takes Joe's place, don't it? You weak little...
I warned you.
Have a drink, Freddie. With a Mickey. With a Mickey and...
I didn't want to do it, Smalley. Not again, honest. I just got him before he got me, that's all. It's all mixed up. I don't know how he got here, but I'm alive. Luck's coming my way again. This time for good. I got a feeling. Lucky rabbit's foot, lucky penny, everything lucky. Lady Luck, she's on my side now. I see a car outside. I hear it. Yeah. Moon-eye headlights straight at me. Yeah. Just hop a ride to L.A., I'll be okay. Hey, you! Just wave my hands like this. He'll stop. Up and down, up, down, up, down. Good. Slowing down. I'm okay now. Left, mister, left. No. It's my bus with the right wheel. And it's still ain't no driver.
Bus number 22, checking in, Tom.
Okay, Johnny, I'll take it.
Yeah, hey, a little excitement. Excitement? Yeah, I guess so.
What do you mean, you guess so?
You nab a couple of murderers on your bus, didn't you? Well, there wasn't no excitement in it for me.
What?
You see, I wasn't there. They were all asleep when the bus broke down. There was no one to talk to, so after the tow car hooked onto the bus, I went up front in the tow car to chew the rag.
Yeah, so?
So nothing. When this guy wakes up, he went nuts. Started yapping about a murder and jumped off the bus. We had to chase him all through the desert, and he was so far gone he didn't even see the tow car when we found him again.
So what happened to him then?
He was nuts, I tell you, off his rocker.
Yeah?
Sure. We turned him and his buddy over to the cops in the next town at just about 12 o'clock midnight.
A bus without a driver and a ghost town in the desert.
Perhaps our two friends will make that same trip again, and very soon, when they make their final payment for their murder at midnight. Again when death takes the wheel on a lonely journey and the clocks strike 12 for murder at midnight. The part of Freddy was played by John Sylvester. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
This I believe. Mrs. Marie Neal Martin is editor and publisher of the Western Reserve Democrat. She took over management of this Ohio weekly after her husband's death and made a success of it when everyone predicted failure. Even this busy career fails to absorb all of Mrs. Martin's dynamic energy, and she plays an important part in her community's welfare and civic activities. Here is what she believes.
Many years ago, my husband and I were driving in northern Wisconsin when we came to a particularly hazardous hill. With jagged cliffs on one side and a deep chasm on the other, it was a trail to be avoided, but we had to take it to get where we wanted to go. I was terribly anxious, and sensing my apprehension, my husband leaned over to me and said, "Watch it flatten out." I have seen problems of covetousness, greed, unfair competition, inharmony, flatten out under an application of the golden rule. I believe it to be a workable ideology. The world of make-believe looms large in my makeup. I'm downright sorry for the boy or girl who finds no bunnies in his Easter basket. Sorry for the husband or wife who, down the years, do not take time out to renew their marriage vows, to whom a full moon has ceased to spell romance. I envy Mr. Ibsen's Peer Gynt for his ability to so enter into make-believe that a string which he throws over the back of a chair suddenly becomes a sleigh with reindeers prancing over the snow. My mother, who died when I was 13, was a romantic and poetic soul. On a page of her diary, which was passed on to me when I became of age, were written these words: "I play that the burners on my stove are pipes on a great organ, and so I feed my soul and satisfy my appetite." It was gasoline in those days, and what with 6 children and often no help, it must have been a real task to the frail, slender girl whose marital vows had suddenly transplanted her from the land of sunshine and Negro mammies to the stern realities of an Illinois prairie. It has always been a source of a great deal of comfort to me to know that my mother named soul first and appetite as a secondary consideration. Her choice of words, too, show a nice discrimination. One may feed but never quite satisfy the soul, but the appetite may be appeased. By even the widest stretch of the imagination, no one could ever call me religious, but I believe in a supreme being, a God of love, and a religion of affirmation rather than supplication. I believe in the United States of America, in its traditions and the fundamental principles on which it was founded. I can take little credit for this sense of loyalty. It is an inherited trait. My grandmother was of the Old South. The close of the Civil War found her an embittered woman. It wasn't so much the freeing of the slaves and the dissipation of personal fortunes that made her so, but rather the wanton destruction brought about by the northern carpetbaggers on her beloved homeland. To the day of her death, she would not permit a picture of Mr. Lincoln to be brought inside her house. And when my mother married a damn Yankee, that was the last straw. I do not believe that any great event in my life has colored my views or altered my course of thinking. I am what I am pretty much through the gift of inheritance, an inherited belief in God, an inherited love of country, an inherited faith in man. In closing, I believe in the eternality of life. I am counting on that, and I am genuinely sorry for anyone who faces the oncoming years without reliance on such a belief.
They're the creed of Marie Neal Martin of Warren, Ohio. She is editor and publisher of the Western Reserve Democrat.
Oh, thanks.
You've just solved the mystery. All we've got to do now is catch the killer.
Oh, but how do we do that, Nick?
By turning you into a ghost.
By turning me into a what?
Patsy, I'm going to make you up into the scariest ghost that was ever seen. And tonight you're going to haunt a chess club. Now for the case of the Jeweled Queen. Today's adventure starring Ron Clark as Nick Carter, brought to you by new post-war Old Dutch Cleanser. In his small basement apartment, cluttered with chess books and chess sets, old Jeremy Hawthorne sits over a chessboard and listens absently while two hard-eyed men talk to him.
Will you listen to me, Hawthorne?
Oh, yes, of course, Mr. He told you his name twice already, pal. This here's my boss, Mr. Monk. Oh, yes, Mr. Monk. I swear if you don't pay attention,
I'll do, Cruz.
Okay. Yes, bishop to queen, bishop... Oh, the only possible move. Unless, knight to rook 5.
Hawthorne, I got $1,000 for you.
Huh? What's that? Well, $1,000? That won't come up.
Do you remember the old National Chess Club, the old marble mansion on East 20th?
Oh, yes, do I not? I'm the last surviving member. Ah, what great old days we had at the club. It's been closed now for, let me see.
For 40 years, and it's been falling to pieces all that time.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, if it hadn't been for that terrible scandal, the club would still be...
Look, I'm not interested in the club or its scandals. I'm interested in you.
Oh, you're a chess player, Mr...
No, I'm the guy with $1,000. I'll pay it to you.
But, for what?
For your right title and interest in the club.
My dear sir, you're cheating yourself. There isn't anything in the club but old books and old furniture. Hardly worth $50, let alone...
I'll pay you $1,000 for everything in the building. Everything that's your property as the last surviving member. All you have to do is sign this release.
Mr. Monk, this is ridiculous. The place is a liability.
But maybe so, Hawthorne. You just sign the paper and take this $1,000. I'll take the liability.
Oh, by the way, Patsy, I haven't asked you to marry me for over 2 weeks. How about
it? Oh, please, Stubby. Don't you ever get tired of hearing me say no?
Why, Patsy? Hey, Nick, stop the car, quick, Stubby.
What's the matter?
I just remembered something. A murder?
Oh, you yelled as though there were 10 murders.
Larson thrown in. No, it's nothing like that. I just remembered old man Hawthorne.
Hawthorne?
Yeah, he lives right here. That basement apartment, Stubby. Who, what, and why is old man Hawthorne? He's the guy I play chess with by mail.
Oh, now I've heard everything.
No, not kidding, Patsy. I'm up to my neck in a red-hot correspondence game with Hawthorne. And I just remembered I forgot to mail him my latest move.
Hey, get back in the car, chess champion. We're late for dinner already. I'll lend you a postcard.
Won't take a second, Nick. I'll be right back.
Oh,
He'd probably fling open the door and howl, check.
And scare old man Hawthorne to death.
Patsy, did I ever tell you the story about the man who won a chess game because he couldn't talk cannibal?
Another Nick Carter special on the way.
It seems this man was captured by cannibals down in New Guinea. And while they were boiling the pot...
Hey! But Scubby, what's the matter with him?
It doesn't sound as though he's making a chess move either.
Hey, Nick, you gotta come into Hawthorne's place right away. This is awful.
What's the matter, Scubby? You need advice on your next move?
I'll say I do. Hawthorne's dead.
Oh!
He's committed suicide.
No doubt about it. Hawthorne's dead, all right.
He climbed up on a chair and hanged himself from one of the water pipes.
But why, Nick? Scubby says he didn't have a problem in the world.
Well, not outside of chess. Well, he just lived for his chess problems. The old guy was happy. He wouldn't.
That's what's bothering me.
What?
Look at this note Hawthorne apparently left here on the chess table. Neatly printed in ink. I'm 80 years old and I'm tired. Chess is a bore. There's nothing left.
Nick, why did you say Hawthorne apparently left the note?
Because the note is printed in ink.
So what? Hawthorne's got an ink stain on his forefinger.
True enough, Scubby, but tell me this. Where's the ink bottle?
The what?
The bottle of ink. And the pen Hawthorne used, or the fountain pen, or anything that'll write in ink.
Holy smoke, you're right.
I've been through this room thoroughly, and there isn't any ink. So how could Hawthorne write that note?
Well, maybe there's a pen in his pocket.
No, I've searched him. There's nothing on it but some small change and a handkerchief.
Then he didn't write that note.
No, Scubby, he positively did not. Some kind friend obligingly wrote that note for Hawthorne with his own pen, and then kindly helped Hawthorne commit suicide.
What? You mean that someone murdered him?
Go to the head of the class, Betsy.
But he was harmless. Why would anyone want to kill a nice old man like that?
That, Scubby, is what I'd like to find out.
So would I. Where do we start?
Well, here's the picture as I see it. Someone was here with Hawthorne just before he was murdered. Someone who had the pen that Hawthorne used to write with.
Accounting for the ink stain on a finger.
Right.
But what did Hawthorne write?
Well, certainly not the suicide note. That was written for him after he was killed. Now, when this comes... Hey, this is interesting.
What?
Here on the floor under Hawthorne's feet. The rhinestone medallion, see? With the letter M in the center.
A medallion with the letter M?
Recognize it, Scubby?
Sure I do. That's in the Club Monk.
The nightclub on the west side?
Yeah. There's a dancer there named Jenny Valentine. She does a solo tap dance and throws the souvenirs to the customers.
Oh, what would an old chess player be doing in a nightclub cashing souvenirs?
You mean, what would a nightclub dancer be doing in Hawthorne's rooms playing chess?
Nick, maybe that medallion's the key to this murder.
Could be, Scotty. Hey, look, you kids stand by and wait for Matty in the homicide squad.
Well, what are you going to do?
I'm going down to the Monk Club and try to catch a souvenir.
I can't give you anything but love, baby. The only thing I've plenty of, baby. Dream a while, listen to
Mr. Monk. Oh, hiya, Oscar. Come on in. Is it okay, Mr. Monk?
Is what okay?
Well, the money I owe you, the $5,000.
Oh, no.
But I told you how to get the queen. Didn't you believe me?
Yeah?
Well, did you see Hawthorne? Did you buy it from him?
Yeah.
You owe the club
$6,000 now.
What do you mean?
Now, listen, Sonny. You come here to the club and you drop $5,000. You can't pay, so you hand me a story about this bequest your uncle left to the chess club.
Well, it's true, I swear. The club was closed before they had a chance to find out what he gave them. They never knew what they had. Mr. Monk, that queen is worth $20,000, maybe $30,000.
Okay.
Well, that was the deal.
If I steered you into it, you'd cancel the money I owe you.
Listen, punk, the word was if.
It's what you said.
Silas, I haven't got the queen yet. It cost me another $1,000 already. If I get it, you're clear. Get that through your head, Hopkins. I don't sucker so easy for fancy stories.
Well, sure, but after all, I went to...
Yelling, will you? Everybody in the club can hear you. You're making so much noise.
Oh, hiya, Jenny.
Hello, Hoppy.
Hello.
Oh, Hoppy. Don't you love me anymore?
No.
Now, that's a man for you. Chasing after me for 3 months solid. And all of a sudden, bump, the freeze. Don't be mad at me, Hoppy.
You played me for a sucker, Jenny. $5,000 worth of sucker.
Why, Hoppy?
Go ahead and grin. I'm going to the bar, and I hope I never see you again.
Darn. Monk, baby.
Yeah?
Got the dope and Hawthorne?
Everything's okay, honey.
And we got the queen.
Tonight, baby. I'm going over with Cruz.
Are you gonna take care of it?
You just leave that to me, honey. From tomorrow on, it's just gonna be you and me and 40 grand.
Golly, Mom.
Look, better go up to your dressing room now. Cruz may get ideas when he sees us.
Say it again. Say it again about you and me, Monk.
You and me and 40 grand.
Oh, honey. You say the sweetest things.
Oh, this dressing room smells like a perfume factory. Hope I don't asphyxiate before she's through with her dance. What?
Oh.
Miss Valentine?
Yeah.
The doorman told me it'd be all right to wait in your dressing room.
You, shall we say, an admirer?
Perhaps. Get away.
You're very good looking. You, like my dance?
I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't know.
And what are you hanging around my dressing room for?
Miss Valentine, I'm Nick Carter.
The detective?
That's right.
Now get out of here.
I'm not quite ready to leave yet, Miss Valentine. I'd like to ask you about this medallion.
Huh? What about it?
Why'd you give it to Jeremy Hawthorne?
Jeremy hey, look, I throw hundreds of those things around every night, but I should know who catches them.
Of course, Miss Valentine, but you do know Hawthorne.
But I throw...
Don't deny it. You showed it on your face when I mentioned his name.
Get out of here.
I came up here to ask you what you know about a chess player who had the misfortune...
Janet Carter, I'll ask the questions around here.
Oh, hello, Monk. Do I also say hello to the 45 you're playing with?
Make one fancy play, Carter, and you can get intimate with a slug.
Don't you knock when you sneak into dressing rooms?
No. Besides, you and I are going to sneak right out.
Monk, I think...
Now, look, this is my play, Jenny. Let me take it.
Okay, but listen...
Get on your feet, Carter. We're going up to my office.
All right.
It's nice and soundproof up there. We can play just as rough as you want to. And if you want to play some parlor games, that's all right, too.
Just one game I'm not in the mood for, Monk.
Oh, what's that?
2 men played with a gun or a rope. It's called murder.
So, Nick was right in his guess that Hawthorne was known to both Jenny and Monk. We'll see where that leads him in just a moment when we hear what Monk has to tell him in his private soundproof office.
Now, back to the case of the Jeweled Queen. Today's adventure with Nick Carter, brought to you by new post-war Old Dutch Cleanser. At the point of a gun, Nick is ushered into Monk's soundproof office on the second floor of the Monk Club. Monk closes the door sharply and...
Sit down, Carter.
Thanks.
Now, listen. I had trouble with you before. I know you're a smart cookie, and I know you're dangerous. That's why I use a rod when you're around.
Put your cards on the table, Monk.
Carter, this is one deal that's on the level.
What deal?
The deal with Hawthorne.
Oh? Well, this is very interesting. Go ahead, Monk. Sing your song.
Well, a rich kid named Hopkins got in the red for me for $5,000. So he couldn't pay. And so his old man wouldn't hand over the dough. So Hopkins steers me into a deal to square.
What deal?
You going for history, any?
I've read a book or two.
Well, get a load of this. Back in the 1500s, there was this English queen, Elizabeth.
I've heard of her.
Well, now, there was a tournament held in Toronto once, a kind of joust. Now, Elizabeth was impressed with the way a guy by the name of Sir Charles Blount fought. She was so impressed that she sent him a present the next day. A chess piece. It was a jeweled queen.
I think I've read the story.
Well, now, according to the books, Essex was so jealous of the gift, he had some fights a duel with Blount, and afterwards, the chess queen disappeared.
So I've heard.
Now, Carter, that queen's worth a fortune, and I own it. All legal, all fair, all square.
How so?
Well, Hopkins' uncle uncovered it 50 years ago. He sent it to the National Chess Club as a bequest, along with some books and stuff.
Well?
But he died right after that. Then the club went bust before they knew what they owned. That jewel queen is stored away somewhere in the club cellar.
And you own it?
I do. I bought it fair and square from the last living club member, old Jeremiah Hawthorne. I got the bill of sale of the club property signed by him this afternoon for $1,000.
So that's how he got the ink stain on his finger.
What?
Nothing.
Now, tonight I'm going down to the clubhouse and get what I own. All legal and above board, right?
Except for one little detail, Monk.
Name it.
Somebody murdered Hawthorne.
Well, Get out of here. It's a dirty double-crossing.
Hawthorne's been murdered, and he didn't have $1,000 on him.
I told you to get out. And if you know what's good for you, Carter, don't try to hang this rap on me.
I won't have to, Monk. I'll just help you hang it on yourself.
Your hat, Mr. Carter?
Thanks.
Don't you like the Monk Club, Mr. Carter?
Sure, like it fine. But I don't like the people in it. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Carter. Mama dance too.
Just a minute. What? Well, Mr. Alfred Cruz, isn't it? How are you, Alfred? Last time we met...
Carter, what do you want with Jenny?
Take your hand off me, Alfred.
What was you doing in Jenny's dressing room?
Don't see why that's any of your business.
It sure is. She's going to be my wife.
Is that so? When?
In a couple of months. She's a beautiful kid. Everybody's chasing her. Like that kid Hopkins, even Monk. I don't want you around her, too.
I have no intentions of chasing her, Alfred. Now, will you please get out of my way?
You don't bluff me with fancy talk, Carter. I swear I'll break your neck if you go near her. You want a sample?
You don't step aside, Alfred.
Yeah, see how you like this.
I really hate to do this, Alfred. When you get up again, I hope you'll have more sense.
Hey, Nick, come over to your car, quick.
What's the matter, Scubby?
I was coming down to meet you, and I saw your car just now, and we'll take a look inside.
Don't tell me you've discovered it. Good heavens. Jenny Valentine. Dead. Confounded mess. First Hawthorne, then Jenny Valentine.
Oh, stop pacing, Nick. You're making the office whirl around in circles.
Nick, I'm serious. Why'd you bring Jenny back in the car? Why haven't you reported her murder to Maddie?
I'm going to just as soon as I figure this out.
Oh, but Nick...
Maybe I was meant to find her and report it.
But she's still out in your car. If anybody finds her...
I know. Found it. She was in the back seat with her neck twisted, strangled. It's as though she'd come to the car and was waiting to speak to me after I left the club.
Only the killer came along and spoke to her first.
Nick, you've got to do something.
I know I do. I'm trying to think.
Well, my money's on Monk. He's army.
Maybe.
Oh, did Jenny tell you anything that could help?
No. Although she was friendly enough till she found out who I was.
This I already know.
How?
Oh, I know a clue when I see it. See that big smudge of powder and makeup she left on Nick's sleeve?
Powder and makeup on my... Patsy, you're magnificent. You've solved the case.
I've solved...
You've just told me who murdered Hawthorne and Jenny Valentine. Now all we've got to do is catch him.
But how?
By turning you into a ghost.
By turning me into a what?
Patsy, I'm going to make you up into the scariest ghost I was ever seen. And tonight you're going to haunt the chess club.
I guess Hawking just right, Cruz. All through this old chess club. Stuff must be stored down in the cellar.
Okay, come on.
Look, Hawthorne said it's in a big packing case. Stenciled Hopkins.
Here's just a rat thing. They ate the print off.
Well, that's Kenny's books, but they can't be gold and diamonds.
You keep telling yourself.
No, take it easy. This is the bottom. Hey, flash around your light. Huh?
Hey, Mark.
Yeah?
Over there against the wall. See? On a case. It says Hopkins.
Okay, come on. It's falling to pieces. Come on, get it open.
Easy, Mark. I'll take a second.
Close all the box. That's what the kid said. The size of a cigar box.
Sure. I'll find it if it's here. There it is.
Okay. All right, hand it over.
What's the hurry? I'm as much interested in what's in here as you are.
Look, I got news for you, Cruz. You're not taking it out of here.
What?
I'm taking the Queen, Cruz, and I'm leaving you behind.
Oh, you dirty. Put away that rod.
Jenny wants it that way, Cruz. It's too bad, pal. Give me the Queen.
Dirty double crossing. You and Jenny ain't gonna cross me up, Mark.
Cruz, look! At the top of the stairs, Cruz, look!
Monk and Cruz stand in the depths of the cellar, staring up at the head of the stairs in horror. We'll hear what happens next in just a moment. Now for the conclusion of the case of the Jeweled Queen. Today's adventure with Nick Carter, brought to you by new post-war Old Dutch Grandeur. As Monk and Cruz stand transfixed in the cellar of the National Chess Club, Nick whispers to Patsy, who stands at the head of the stairs in a glowing green drape. And Patsy...
Cruz, look! At the top of the stairs, look!
It's the same. She's coming down the stairs.
She's coming down towards us.
Hey, wait a minute, Mark.
She looks like... Holy smokes, it's Jenny. Hey, for the love of mud, Dave, what are you trying to do? Play the Phantom of the Opera?
That ain't Jenny.
What if I can see her face?
It can't be a fool.
No! Let go of my arm. Stop telling that Jenny, you're crazy.
It can't be Jenny. Jenny's dead.
She's dead?
How do you know that, Cruz?
Carter.
How do you know Jenny's dead? Only the man who killed her could know that.
But if Jenny's dead, who's this?
My assistant, Patsy Bowen, made up to look like Jenny. This bad light, she was able to fool you, just as I planned.
Cruz. You killed Jenny.
Yeah, wise guy. You thought you was going to cross me up with her, huh? Make a sucker out of me like she made out of Hopkins. Well, I showed you, and I'll show you more.
Quiet, Cruz. It's too late.
Oh.
Don't howl, Alfred. That shot just went through your arm. It'll heal by the time you're due to take 40,000 volts sitting down. right, Patsy. The old story of thieves falling out.
Huh? What do you mean, Nick?
Well, Cruz knew he was being double-crossed by Jenny and Monk, so he decided to return the favor and double-cross them.
Oh. Well, is that why he went out and killed Hawthorne after Monk made the deal?
Tried to frame Monk by dropping that medallion.
Mm-hmm.
Then to fix Jenny, he strangled her and left her in my car.
And in that way, he figured Monk would take the rap for Hawthorne's murder, and Jenny would be dead, and both would be out of his way.
Exactly.
Oh.
He selected Jewel Queen and lived happily ever after.
Golly. Nick, I still don't understand how I solved the case.
Why, Patsy, you did it when you saw that smudge of makeup on my arm.
Will you please explain?
I most certainly will explain. Patsy, the only person who could have touched me while I was in the Monk Club who had makeup on his hand was Cruz. Remember I told you how he knocked my arm?
Yeah, just before you hit him and knocked him down.
That's right. Well, he must have smudged my arm with makeup, which means he must have got it on his hands from Jenny's neck.
Well, I'll be darned.
So he had to be the man who strangled her.
Yeah, but what about the Jewel Queen?
The Jewel Queen goes to Monk. He bought it legally, so he's entitled to it.
Oh, shucks.
Oh, don't feel bad, Patsy. If you want one, I'll buy you a dozen tomorrow.
A dozen?
Monk is out $6. Dear. The velvet box contained one very elaborate chest queen made of wood. Value, about $1.50.
Wasn't the real Jewel Queen?
No, Patsy, it wasn't. Queen Elizabeth's chest piece is still at large, somewhere in the white world.
Maybe Cruz will be able to ask Her Majesty where it is after he sits down in the hot seat.
Patsy, that's not a nice thing to imply.
It isn't? Why not?
Well, I certainly hope good Queen Bess isn't in the same place Cruz is going to. Besides, by then it'll be too late to do him any good.
This I believe. Mario Pei was born in Rome, Italy, but grew up in New York. At the age of 22, he became an instructor in Latin and Romance languages at City College, and remained there until 1937, when he accepted an assistant professorship at Columbia University. At present, an associate professor of Romance philology, he is also a prolific author and a frequent contributor to magazines and professional journals. This is Mario Pei's creed.
I believe that next to divine grace, God's greatest gift to man is time. Not time to fritter away, but time to use to the best advantage of one's fellow man, and for the full development and fruition of those talents with which one has been blessed. The proper utilization of one's time span calls for the development of that sense of personal initiative and personal responsibility without which man sinks to the level of a cog in a machine. All men are not endowed with the same talents or abilities, but I believe that there is incumbent upon each individual an obligation to realize to the utmost the good and useful qualities with which he is endowed. In the realization of this obligation lies the fundamental truth of the proposition that all men are created equal. I believe that every human being has been given his own spark of immortality, and it is up to him to see that this spark does not die. I believe that every human being possesses the God-given dignity of individuality, and it is up to him and all other men to respect it. In the final analysis, man is not responsible for his actions to his fellow man, who may be as imperfect as he is. He is responsible to God, who will ask an accounting for whatever gifts have been placed in trust with each one of us. Time is ill spent to accumulate wealth, power, or learning, if these things are looked upon as having value for their own sake. It is well spent if they are gained for the ultimate purpose of service to others. When the hour comes, as it must come to everyone, to part from life's blessings, the question will not be how many of these earthly blessings have been gathered and are now being left behind, but to what use they have been put while there was a choice to make. The field of the accumulation of learning is the one with which I am most familiar. Here I have often been struck by the sterility of much of that accumulation. the indifference to the practical utilization of the wisdom and lore that had been so painstakingly piled up. The scholar who gathers wisdom not in order to make it available to his fellow men who hunger for it, but to hoard it so that it may die with him, is like the miser who buries gold in a secret place where no one may ever find it and use it. When I face my Maker, I know that the list of my shortcomings will be painfully long. But this, if nothing else, is what I hope I may see on the credit side of the ledger. He made full and proper use of the time and talents allotted to him. He showed respect for the rights and dignity of his fellow man. He acted in accordance with his sense of individual responsibility, never shirking his duty as he saw it, and never relying on others to perform the tasks assigned to him. What little he had to give out, he did not attempt to hoard, but dispensed it with freedom and generosity. He directed his efforts in such a way that when he left the earth it was, even though to an infinitesimal degree, a better place than when he entered it. For this I strive, because this I believe.
That was Professor Mario Pei of Columbia University in New York. His most recent books are The Story of English and an historical novel, Swords of Anjou.
C presents transcribed Frank Lovejoy in Night Beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the night beat for the Chicago Star. Statistically speaking, someone once said a story is born every 15 seconds. It could be. But you've got to go out in the night and dig for it. Dig behind the love and the hate and the fear. And probe for that story that fills up tomorrow's paper. I had a couple of tired items that I've been keeping for just such an occasion. I wrote them, I rewrote them, and then I threw them in the wastebasket because night beat is a matter of legwork. There's only one way to do it. Mohammed has to go to the mountain. So I put on my coat, got my hat, and started out. I was just walking out of the city room, opened the door to the hall, and I looked right into a pair of inquiring blue eyes.
Pardon me.
Oh, sure.
I wonder if you could help me. I'm looking for a newspaper man.
Well, maybe. What's his name?
Oh, I don't want anyone in particular. I just want to talk to a newspaper man.
Well, you're not too particular. I'm a reporter. My name is Randy Stone.
Oh. Would you be interested in a story, Mr. Stone?
I saw the mountain comes to Mohammed.
What? I don't understand.
Oh, it's just a figure of speech. Come on in. We can sit down and...
Oh, no, I'd rather stay out here in the hall.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
Wait, is it true that newspapers will pay money to get a big story? A really big story?
Well, they've been known to if it's important enough and if it's an exclusive.
How much would they pay?
Now, look, I can't set a price. That's up to the publisher, and besides, it depends. What do you have to sell?
I'm married to a communist spy.
Oh. Well, why tell me? Why don't you go to the FBI?
Well, they won't pay anything. I've got to have money. And you've got to promise me you won't tell them till after you've paid me.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on here. If you've got a story, my boss will be happy to buy an exclusive, but not behind the government's back.
Oh, you can tell the FBI. I didn't mean you couldn't give them the facts, but we've got to be safe first. Don't you see? We've got to be safe.
Now, wait a minute. Now, before everybody gets in an uproar, let's find out if you have got a story. Where is your husband?
I'll take you to him.
In my trade, you can't ever afford to overlook a lead because the most implausible thing turns out to be true and the most plausible, phony. I went down the elevator with the girl. And it stopped on the ground floor. We walked across the lobby and out onto the sidewalk. And as usual, there was no cab in front. Mind walking around the corner of the cab stand, Mrs. You didn't tell me your name.
It's Jane. Mrs. Jane Greash. No, I don't mind walking.
How long have you known about your husband?
Mr. Stone, there's somebody following us.
No, there's nobody.
Yes, there is. Back there. He just stepped in the shadows of that doorway.
Oh, yes, there is someone. You wait for me at the cab stand. She went on ahead. I stopped and went through my pockets like I'd forgotten something, and then I started back, walking close to the buildings. When I came to the doorway where the man had melted into the shadows, I stopped. Something I can do for you, bud?
Hello, Stone.
Louis Martel. Aren't you in the wrong neighborhood?
I want to talk to you.
I'm busy. See me tomorrow.
You'll see me now. Or am I pointed enough?
Louis, when are you going to quit sticking a gun in people's ribs? Don't you know that smart thugs don't do that anymore?
Maybe I'm not smart, but I'm effective. You know what I mean? And I got my eye on you, Stone, so play ball.
Well, what is that supposed to mean?
That column you wrote yesterday, the boys didn't like it. They told me to tell you they didn't like it.
That's the highest praise I've ever had. Now, if you don't mind, I'm in a hurry.
When I'm ready. You said in the paper we was in for a surprise. You said somebody was going to push us out of business. Where'd you get that idea?
Professional secrets. I never divulge the source of my information.
What kind of stuff is that?
I'm like a doctor or a lawyer. How would you like it if I knew something about you and I spilled? Wouldn't be very nice of me, would it?
No. It wouldn't be healthy either.
All right, get out of my way, Louis. Go play hood someplace else.
Okay. But keep something in mind, Stone. Don't hold out on us. You know, even cops get hurt sometimes.
Yeah, I'll keep it in mind. I walked away from the Gunsel. By the time I got around the corner, the adrenaline in my body had subsided to something like normal because I'm no different than anybody else. You stick a gun in my ribs, and I turn cold inside. By the time I got to the cab stand, Mrs. Grease wasn't there. But I wasn't especially surprised. If she had been telling the truth, she'd run out of fear, and if she hadn't, well, you run into it all the time. Somebody promises you a great story, and it blows up in your face. I walked along the street wondering if she'd been on the level or if it was all a lot of hogwash. Either way, I still had a story to dig up before the night was over. I'd walked about 2 blocks and was crossing the street when a cab pulled up.
Mr. Stone.
Mrs. Grace.
Get in.
I thought you'd taken a powder on me.
Who was that man who was following me?
Wasn't following you. He was following me.
Why? Why should he follow you?
Oh, it's nothing. Forget it. Just a cheap thug who's sore over some publicity I gave him.
I think we've shaken him. I don't see him anywhere.
You know, I'm beginning to believe you're serious about this cloak and dagger stuff.
Yes, Mr. Stone. I'm dead serious.
And you'd sell your husband down the river for a few pieces of gold. Must be a great love.
You don't understand. Rudy wants to quit. He wants the American people to know. He must make them realize the danger before it's too late. He wants to help them.
He does?
Oh, he realizes he's done a lot of harm to America, but he couldn't help himself.
Oh, they twisted his arm?
They sent him here from Czechoslovakia. They told him all kinds of lies.
I see, and now he's seen the light.
I'm afraid you don't believe me.
Well, if what you say is true and he's so anxious to square the books, why didn't he come himself?
He's afraid. He's in constant fear.
Of what?
The secret police.
What, in Chicago?
I know what you're thinking. When I lived in Kansas, I wouldn't have believed it either. But Rudy's country, well, things are different. You can't know what it's like, Mr. Stone, to know you're being spied on, to wonder who's going to kill you and when.
It seems to me what you need is protection, not money.
If you're not interested, Mr. Stone, maybe I ought to go to another paper.
No, I didn't say that I wasn't interested, but one thing I don't quite get, and it makes me skeptical. When we splash the story on the front page, what good is the money going to do?
With money, we can lose ourselves. I know where we can get a little farm, way off the beaten track.
In Kansas?
Please don't ask me. I can't tell you.
Incidentally, where is this cloak and dagger operation going on?
At the circus.
The circus?
Yes. Rudy's the clown. The high-wire clown.
She didn't talk the rest of the way to the circus lot. She just sat and stared moodily out of the window. The circus was in progress when we got there. Had about half an hour to go before it broke. Mrs. Grease took me in through the back way, zigzagging between performance trailers to a dressing room tent. The well-known Clown Alley. She pulled me back into the shadows as 4 or 5 clowns passed on their way to the big top.
Now, you'll be alone. You can go in.
We walked into the tent, past the long rows of dressing tables and mirrors, to the end where a man wearing the most incredibly melancholy clown makeup sat staring into a mirror.
Rudy, I brought someone to talk to you.
Oh? To talk to me? What about?
You know, Rudy. You know what about.
My name is Stone, Mr. Grease. Randy Stone. I'm with the Chicago Star. Your wife has told me that...
Rudy, I was right. They pay for stories. They sometimes pay quite a lot if they can have a story exclusively.
What an incredible country this is. Imagine paying money for news.
Well, of course, we'll have to have proof.
Rudy, my friend, is it not time for... Oh, did not know you have company.
Well, that's all right, Kovacs.
You are on in a few minutes, Rudy.
Yes, I know. Every day I'm on at the same time. I'm not likely to forget.
That is good. I only come to remind you of your duty. Excuse me.
Who is that man, Rudy?
But that is Kovacs, you know Kovacs.
Rudy, I've never seen him before in my life.
Well, Jane, why do you not go to your tent and rest? Relax like the doctor told you.
Doctor. Rudy, what are you trying to do to me?
About the story, we'll have to have documentation of every fact you give us.
What is this documentation that I give you? No, I don't understand.
Well, we just can't print that you're a spy. We'll have to substantiate it.
Spy? Jane, is that what... Did you tell this man that I was a spy?
Rudy, please. He can help us.
Jane, you go to your quarters.
But Rudy,
Jane, you do as I tell you.
Rudy.
No, don't worry, Mr. Stone. Should be all right. He's not been well. She fell from a trapeze, you know. It's very serious fall. Damage to the brain.
Oh?
You poor Jane has it in your mind that I need money to disappear because I'm afraid of the communist secret police. I suppose she told you this.
Yeah.
Did she tell you I was chosen as a master spy because of the freedom with which I travel with the circus? That I'm used as a clearinghouse for all espionage in your country? That I'm in contact with the head of the underground in every major city and that I am indeed the most important spy in America?
Well, no, she wasn't quite that explicit.
Here, according to Jane, my life is not worth what you Americans call a plugged nickel.
There must have been some fall she took.
It was unfortunate. Any minute she expects none other than Mavlik to appear and eliminate me.
Mavlik? The big iron curtain hatchet man?
It's fantastic, no? And poor Jane, she worries more about foreign intrigue than the State Department. No, Mr. Stone, I'm afraid I'm just a clown. I'm just a simple clown who knows how to stay on a high wire without falling off and breaking his neck. I'm sorry I've been caused so much trouble. I have to go now. I'm on in a few minutes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Why do you look at me like that, so searchingly?
I was just wondering what you look like under the makeup.
Well, I'm just an ordinary fellow, Mr. Stone, like anybody. No, there's no story in me, Mr. Stone.
He walked out of Clown Alley, and I stood there a while, feeling like a left tackle had been taken out of the play. Big international story, and it ends up to be a mental mirage. I heard a big laugh go up. Somebody was having fun. And since I'd gone to all the trouble to come to the circus, the least I could do was to catch Rudy's act. I slipped into the big top, feeling like a kid who sneaked in for free. And from the performer's entrance, I watched Rudy, the clown with a sad face, high on the top of the tent, killing the crowd with his crazy antics on the high wire. He'd take a couple of clumsy, uncertain steps. He'd start to fall with no net beneath him. The crowd shrieked. He grabbed the wire, regained his footing, scratched his ribs with one hand and his head with the other. And they roared with laughter. Then they shrieked again, but this time they didn't laugh because there wasn't anything to laugh about. Because Rudy wasn't on the high wire anymore. Rudy had plummeted to the ground. I pushed my way through the tan bark to the ring. I was in the inner circle of the circus people who stood looking down at Rudy with the awesome realization that it might have happened to any one of them. He wasn't dead, but his back was broken. They carried him on a stretcher to the medical tent. I waited outside. A worried-looking, red-faced man came up. How is he?
Bad. Doc says it's just a matter of minutes. Say, I don't know you, do I?
I'm Randy Stone, a newspaperman.
Jumping Djibouti, I need you like I need a hole in the head. Soft pedal this, Mac, will you? Go easy. Puts a jinx on a show when there's been an accident.
Who are you?
Me, I'm Cassidy. I own this outfit. And with the season we've had and a thing like this happening, What'd you say your name was?
Stone, Randy Stone.
Oh, then you must be the guy he's asking for.
Who?
Rudy. You'd better go in there.
Wait a minute, Cassidy. Where's his wife? She ought to be in here.
Wife? He hasn't got a wife.
Are you sure?
Look, I know who's with his show and who isn't.
But he told me
Look,
that...
if you want to talk to him, you'd better go in there.
Stone? Stone, Mr. Stone.
I'm here. I'm right here.
Are you alone?
Yeah.
Haven't much time. Listen carefully. Don't let anything happen to Jane. They mustn't do anything to Jane.
Who, Rudy? Who would hurt Jane?
Kovacs? Mavlik. It's all true what I said. Jane imagined. It's all true. She thought we could get a farm. It would have been nice. Farm. Lose ourselves. But you don't... You can't... There's no hiding.
Easy. Now, take it easy.
They'll get her, Mr. Stone, and you must protect her.
I'll do what I can.
Kept it secret, our marriage, to protect her, but I was wrong. Wrong to dream. There are no secrets from Maverick.
Rudy, what happened up there on the high wire? How did you fall?
My shoe. My shoe?
Rudy. Rudy. He was all through talking. His eyes, the only real part of his grotesque, chalk-white face, closed as I stood looking down at him. The whole thing seemed like a fantasy. It was weird and unreal. I felt like the ball in the pinball machine that's been bounced off every post without scoring. As I stepped back away from him, I saw the only thing that made sense. His shoe. The sole of it had been cut and stitched back, but off-center. This was no accident. This was murder. Yeah, the clown is dead. Long live the clown.
NBC is bringing you Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone. As a civilian at home, what is your obligation to a soldier in a foxhole in Korea? Maybe you haven't considered that question. If you haven't, it's understandable. The foxhole in Korea is a pretty remote, after all, from your everyday life. And it wouldn't help if you were constantly worrying. But if you've stopped to consider it, the least we can do here at home in the States is to help keep America financially strong. That's the best way to back up the men in the Army, Navy, and Air Force. One of the best ways to help keep America financially strong is to buy United States defense bonds regularly. If you think you can't afford it, look into the payroll savings plan where you work, and you'll probably change your mind. You can have any amount you specify saved from each paycheck. When there's enough for a defense bond, it's purchased and turned over to you. And remember, today defense bonds offer you more interest, a quicker return on your money. They're now even better. Invest more in defense bonds. And now back to Night Beat and Randy Stone.
A clown falls off a high wire and dies. This is a story. But not the story that pulled me to the circus. I was interested now in his wife. What had happened to the wife of Rudy Grish, the girl who had been so mortally afraid for him? Why hadn't she been there when he died? These were some of the things I tried to find out from Cassidy.
So Rudy had his shoe repaired. That doesn't prove anything. He was a tightwad. He never spent money on anything.
I have a feeling even a tightwad would spend money on his shoes if his life depended on them.
Hey, what are you reaching for, Stone? You think somebody in my show killed him?
Now, that's for the cops to figure out. What do you know about Rudy Grish?
Oh, not much. He was a good performer.
How'd he happen to come with you?
He was in this country on a visa. He was anxious to work, so I hired him. I got him cheap.
When he was on the road, you ever notice anything suspicious about him? Did he meet people on the outside? Did he leave the circus a lot?
Now, look, I've got my hands full pushing this pile of canvas around the country without worrying where my performers go.
His wife claims that he was a communist spy.
That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. He didn't have a wife.
Well, he said different. How about a tall blonde girl named Jane? Used to be an aerial.
Jenny?
Yeah.
Well, she's not married. Oh, Rudy was nice to her, but we all were. She took a bad fall last year, hit her head. Has never been the same since. We keep her around here because we're sorry for her.
Well, where is she now? Where can I find her?
You might try the wardrobe tent. That's where she works.
But she wasn't at the wardrobe tent. I checked all over the lot. I couldn't find her anywhere. The circus grounds were almost deserted. The crowds were gone. The performers had disappeared into that world of tents and trailers that belongs exclusively to them. Everything was battened down except the shooting gallery. As I passed by it, one man was putting out the lights and racking up guns. The man who had reminded Rudy of his entrance cue, Kovacs.
Do not move. Stand where you are.
I could barely see him in the dim light, but what I saw made me do exactly as he ordered. He had a rifle trained on me.
Come over here. Closer. No, don't put your hands in your pockets. Put them on the counter. That's fine.
What do you want?
I understand you're looking for Mrs. Grish.
Yeah.
I will take you to her.
Well, never mind that. Just tell me where she is.
You seem to misunderstand, Mr. Stone. I said I will take you to her.
He backed away from me. He racked the rifle, but as quickly as he put it away, another gun appeared in his hand. A Luger.
If you make any attempt to run, to get away, to scream, I will kill you. Now, walk straight ahead of me down Midway to that car parked on the corner.
He came out of the booth with his topcoat draped over the hand that held the gun. There was something European about the cut of his suit, but other than that and his accent, he was like any other hood, frightening with a gun in his hand.
No, you drive.
Well, why don't you drive? Or don't you know how to handle an American car?
There is no need to be insolent. Get in. Drive. I will tell you where to go.
I thought I knew Chicago, but so did my friend with the Luger. He gave the directions, and I followed them. North on Lakeshore Drive, left on Randolph, down Michigan, over to State Street, and back to Michigan. We didn't cover much territory. Actually, we kept circling around the same area. Pretty soon he got tired of it, or else he felt safe. We drove back the way we'd come, past Grant Park, Shed Aquarium, Soldiers Field. And there, at the far end of the circus encampment, out of hearing of any other trailers, we stopped at a luxury house trailer parked on the lakefront. He got out of the car, held the door open for me, and we walked to the trailer steps.
Go on. Open the door. Now step inside.
Mr. Stone! Mr. Stone!
It was Mrs. Jane Grish. I recognized her from the clothes she wore. Would have been hard to recognize her from her face. It had been beaten almost beyond recognition. She was huddled in the corner, sobbing. And seated comfortably on the couch, smoking a cigarette, was a nobly handsome, blonde young man.
Come in. Close the door, Kovacs. Well, Mr. Stone, it was nice of you to come with Kovacs. But then Kovacs has always been inordinately persuasive.
From the looks of Mrs. Grish's face, I'd say that you were pretty persuasive yourself.
I have that reputation.
You wouldn't be Maverick, would you?
Oh, you have heard of me, eh? This I do not like.
Maverick, he knows about the shoe.
Your situation becomes more and more unfortunate, Mr. Stone. But you are just in time for what you Americans call the second show. Mrs. Grish, where is the information that your husband has collected for us?
I don't know. I told you I don't know.
You're lying, Mrs.
But
Grish.
I don't know. I don't know anything.
You do know.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Then let me refresh your memory. Rudy Grish was sent here for a very definite purpose. To correlate information from our scattered agents all over the country and to pass this information on to us. And he did his job well until he married you. That was his mistake.
No. You made the mistake. It wasn't me.
I didn't change his mind. It was being able to go from state to state without showing papers, to do what he wanted without asking permission. For the first time in his life, think for himself.
All right, if you won't cooperate, we go back to the first way.
Leave her alone.
Kovacs, hold him.
You stupid, let go of me.
Don't be so impatient, Mr. Stone. Your turn is next. Scream all you want. No one will hear.
Oh, please. I'll tell you anything. If you promise, leave Rudy alone.
Of course we will, my dear. Where is the information?
Don't sell out, Mrs. Greash. It's too late. Rudy's dead.
David.
Shut up.
You shouldn't have killed him. Now you'll never find out because I don't know. No one knew but Rudy. Rudy.
He was with Rudy when he died. Maybe he told him.
Excellent, Kovacs. Well, Mr. Stone, aren't you frightened?
Of what? Thugs like you? Don't get me wrong. I'm no hero, but I cut my teeth on your caliber. This is Chicago, remember?
Yes. Yes, I've seen your gangster movies. Effective but blunt. Very blunt indeed. You will see we are going to give you a night you won't forget.
I'm sure I can depend on it.
Oh, yes. Yes, you can depend on it. Like you can depend on our one day liberating your people, too, from your antiquated ideals.
If it weren't so ironic, it'd be funny.
It amuses you?
No, not that. I'm just thinking about a guy I know named Louis Martel, whose biggest worry in life is that some other gang might take over one little neighborhood in Chicago.
When we take over, it will be definite, conclusive. It will be everything.
Well, this you'll have to prove.
Don't worry, Stone. They'll never make it.
The Marines had landed. It was the right entrance, but the wrong character. Louis Martel standing in the doorway with an automatic in his hand. Why?
So you're the guys that are going to take over, huh?
Kovacs!
No, you don't, sweetheart. That's what happens to guys that try to muscle in. Now, you, Stone, you're quite a cute character. Thought you'd shake me, huh? Trying to lose me at the circus while you made contact with these out-of-town punks.
You got it all wrong, Louis.
Yeah, sure. Now, the point is, what am I going to do about you? And the dame.
Louis, behind you. Look out.
Won't work, Stone.
Kovacs going to shoot.
That's as old as... Dirty rat. In the back.
A great international story. I believed it. I bought it. But I couldn't print it because I couldn't prove it. The cops, they pegged it for a gang killing, and you couldn't blame them. That's how it looked. 3 dead hoodlums. I told them the blonde man was Mavlik, and they thought it was plausible and interesting. But his identification read, Herman Kennedy, Pittsburgh. They almost believed me when Mrs. Greash backed me up, that is, until they checked and found out that she'd had a bad fall and hadn't been the same since. Oh, they were nice about it. They told me to come back if I ever got any proof. Fat chance. But there is one interesting slant to the whole case. Louis Martel, gangster, killer. Yet, although he never got to know it, in life's crazy way, he was the right guy in the right place at the right time. And for a brief moment, became a hero. Copy, boy.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy, is produced and directed by Warren Lewis. Tonight's transcribed story was written by John and Gwen Bagney with music by Robert Armbruster. Featured in tonight's cast were George Ellis, Bill Conrad, Ben Wright, Sidney Miller, and Lou Merrill. Don Rickles speaking. Listen next week at this time and every week as Randy Stone searches through the city for the strange stories waiting for him in the darkness. Night Beat came to you from Hollywood. chimes mean good times on NBC. Every Friday evening on most NBC stations, you'll hear a trio of stellar shows for your listening enjoyment. For top satire and lots of laughs, it's Inside Bob and Ray, the two boys from Boston who won this year's Peabody Award for top radio achievement in their field. For music, tune for the Mario Lanza Show with his guest, Margaret Whiting. And
This I believe. Critics have called Martha Graham the undisputed star of our modern dance world. Surprisingly enough, this pioneer in the dance did not begin her training until she was 16. Born in Pittsburgh, the daughter of a physician, she grew up in California. She made her New York debut in 1926, then won a Guggenheim Fellowship, the first ever given to a dancer. She made and continues to make dance history. Agnes DeMille wrote, "Dancers for untold generations will dance differently because of her labors." Here now is Martha Graham.
I believe that we learn by practice. Whether it means to learn to dance by practicing dancing, or to learn to live by practicing living, the principles are the same. In each, it is the performance of a dedicated, precise set of acts, physical or intellectual, from which comes shape of achievement, a sense of one's being, a satisfaction of spirit. One becomes in some area an athlete of God. Practice means to perform over and over again in the face of all obstacles, some act of vision, of faith, of desire. Practice is a means of inviting the perfection desired. I think the reason dance has held such an ageless magic for the world is that it has been the symbol of the performance of living. Many times I hear the phrase, the dance of life. It is close to me for a very simple and understandable reason. The instrument through which the dance speaks is also the instrument through which life is lived, the human body. It is the instrument by which all the primaries of experience are made manifest. It holds in its memory all matters of life and death and love. Dancing appears glamorous, easy, delightful. But the path to the paradise of that achievement is not easier than any other. There is fatigue so great that the body cries even in its sleep. There are times of complete frustration. There are daily small deaths. Then I need all the comfort that practice has stored in my memory and a tenacity of faith. But it must be the kind of faith that Abraham had, wherein he staggered not at the promise of God through unbelief. It takes about 10 years to make a mature dancer. The training is twofold. There is the study and practice of the craft in order to strengthen the muscular structure of the body. The body is shaped, disciplined, honored, and in time, trusted. The movement becomes clean, precise, eloquent, truthful. Movement never lies. It is a barometer telling the state of the soul's weather to all who can read it. This might be called the law of the dancer's life, the law which governs its outer aspects. Then there is the cultivation of the being. It is through this that the legends of the soul's journey are retold with all their gaiety and their tragedy. It is at this point that the sweep of life catches up the mere personality of the performer. And while the individual, the undivided one, becomes greater, the personal becomes less personal, and there is grace. I mean the grace resulting from faith. Faith in life, in love, in people, in the act of dancing. All this is necessary to any performance in life which is magnetic, powerful, rich in meaning. In a dancer, there is a reverence for such forgotten things as the miracle of the small, beautiful bones and their delicate strength. In a thinker, there is a reverence for the beauty of the alert and directed and lucid mind. In all of us who perform, there is an awareness of the smile, which is part of the equipment or gift of the acrobat. We have all walked the high wire of circumstance at times. We recognize the gravity of pull of the earth as he does. The smile is there because he is practicing living at that instant of danger. He does not choose to fall.
That was Martha Graham, a dancer, whose originality and creativity have lifted her to a place high among the arts. Her studio is in New York City. Listen while the makers of Rexall drug products and 10,000 independent Rexall family druggists bring you Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, private detective.
Good evening. This is your Rexall family druggist with a welcome from the 10,000 independent druggists who have made the word Rexall part of our own store names. We've done that because we recommend and sell the 2,000 or more drug products made by the Rexall Drug Company. Like Plenamins, for example. Rexall's famous multivitamin capsules. 2 Plenamins a day give you more than your daily minimum requirements of every vitamin for which such requirements have been established, plus valuable liver concentrate and iron. And yet, Plenamins cost only pennies per day. Ask for Plenamins at Rexall drugstores everywhere. And remember, you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall. Now your Rexall family druggist brings you a transcribed half hour with Richard Diamond, private detective, starring Dick Powell.
Diamond Detective Agency. Handy hints on happy homicide.
I beg your pardon?
I said Diamond Detective Agency. Handy hints.
Yes, I heard the last part, but I just wanted to be sure there was nothing the matter with my phone. Mr. Diamond, I wish to hire you.
I'm touched. $100 a day in expenses.
I'm touched.
Well, if the figure depresses you a little, I suggest getting out in the fresh air. Exercise. Play a little golf. If you could use a dandy caddy on Sunday.
I can easily afford the fee, Mr. Diamond, but to be frank, it wasn't exactly what I expected. Isn't it a little high?
Well, frankly, yes. But if you hire another detective, you won't be getting the prettiest.
I see. Can you come to my house at 6 this evening?
Name, address, and reason for hiring me?
George Lexington, Golden Strand, Long Island. And I'm in fear of my life.
I'll see you at 6, Mr. Lexington.
On the dot. Please be prompt.
Just have a substantial retainer ready. Aside from my blue eyes, greed and promptness are my 2 most outstanding features. Well, that's the way a buck's made in my business. I sit around the office for a week, passing the idle hours, playing old Welsh mining tunes on a comb. Then someone gets in trouble, opens the phone book, and naturally the first thing that must catch their eye is my very gaudy full-page advertisement on the Diamond Detective Agency. After that, a phone call, and I'm in business. At 6 sharp, I was ringing the doorbell at the home of Mr. George Lexington, client in fear of his life.
Yes, sir?
Mr. Diamond, to see Mr. Lexington.
Mr. Lexington is busy at the moment. Does he expect you?
I have an appointment with him at 6.
Oh, I see. Please step in. If you'll wait in the library, sir, I'll tell Mr. Lexington you are here. What was that?
Unless you keep a car in one of the upstairs rooms, that, my friend, was a gun going off. Come on. With the butler right behind me, we took the long, curved staircase 3 steps at a time. The butler managed to pant out that Mr. Lexington was in the study at the head of the stairs, so that was the door we went through, only to be stopped cold on the other side. Standing in the middle of the room was a girl. The word girl, in this case, to be identified with adjectives one might think up after having spent 3 lonely years on a life raft in the middle of the Atlantic. The only thing that kept my eyes from melting and running down on my shirt was the .32 revolver she held in her gloved hand.
Miss Morris, no!
Give her the gun, honey.
No! No!
Drop it, honey. You just scorched my money belt. She dropped it, and we all went to pieces. I helped her to a seat and let her cry it out. The gun I could have passed off as a whim or too many Hopalong Cassidy adventures, but the man sprawled across his desk on the other side of the room changed the whole picture. I called the 5th Precinct Police Station and got Lieutenant Walter Levinson started for Long Island.
The police?
You shot a man, didn't you?
Yes.
You tried to kill yourself, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, they're both against the law. Want to tell me about it?
He deserved it.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes?
I just found something rather strange.
Well, don't scratch it.
Miss Morris shot Mr. Lexington, all right.
I never denied it.
Well, what's bothering you?
The thought just occurred to me. Who also took the trouble of stabbing him?
Stabbing him? He was shot.
Then how do you explain this carving knife in his back?
Oh, now, Diamond, you stop that.
But it's true, Walt.
Sure is, Lieutenant. Been shot in the chest and got a knife in his back.
Oh, how do I get in on these things?
This is Miss Morris, Walt, the girl who shot him.
How do you do? Oh, you shot him, huh?
Yes, Lieutenant.
Well, who stabbed him?
Have no idea.
Swell. Miss Morris, why did you shoot this, what's his name?
Lexington, George.
Why did you shoot him?
I refuse to answer.
Okay, suit yourself.
Where's the coroner, Walt?
Should be here any minute.
I didn't stab him, Mr. Diamond.
When you came in, did you talk with Lexington?
I just opened the door, saw him sitting at the desk, and I shot him.
Did you talk to him?
Oh, sure, Walt. She played 20 questions with him while he was trying to paw the knife out of his back.
I was just trying to trap her.
Why?
Why? Because if she said she'd talk to him, it would have been an admission that,
She'd talk to him.
No, that he was still alive before she shot him.
Okay, who stabbed him?
How do I know?
Well, if he was still alive before she shot him, she talked to him, then she must have seen who stabbed him, right?
Yeah.
Well, if she saw who stabbed him, she couldn't have done it, right?
Right.
And no one would have stabbed Lexington if he'd already been shot, right?
No one would have stabbed Lexington if he'd already... Yeah, of course. Do you think I'm stupid?
Lieutenant...
You shut up.
So if they stabbed him, he hadn't been shot and he was alive.
Of course.
Then if he was alive and they stabbed him, the girl didn't do it to confuse you.
Huh?
So if she didn't do it, she can go home. Go on home, Miss Morris.
But, Mr. Diamond...
You heard him. Go on.
That's what I was trying to tell you, Lieutenant. Diamond's at it again.
Otis.
Yeah, Lieutenant?
Take the girl, the butler, and Diamond down to the car. And when the coroner gets here, we'll all take a little drive down to the station. Understand?
Yes, Lieutenant.
What are you yelling at?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the coroner finally arrived and suggested an autopsy for the corpse and a bath in some hot mud for Walt. Then we all climbed into the squad car and headed for downtown New York and the 5th Precinct Police Station. On the way, I told Walt about my phone call from Lexington about 3:45 that afternoon and the few details leading up to finding June Morris with a smoking gun and the dead Mr. Lexington. At the station, we continued to question the girl as to her motive for the killing, but she refused to say anything. The butler could add nothing, so they were taken out to await further questioning. She was allowed to call her lawyer, and we all settled down to wait for the coroner's report on the autopsy.
Yeah?
The dame's lawyer is here. Wants to see you first.
Okay. Girl's lawyer.
Mr. Farnsworth, Lieutenant.
Hello, Lieutenant. What is this all about?
Mr. Diamond, Mr. Farnsworth.
How do you do?
How are you?
I just got a call from Miss Morris.
Lieutenant.
Pardon me a minute. Well, what do you want, Hammerhead?
I got the girl's personal effects.
Well, give them to me.
Okay. Gee, what did I do?
Nothing, Sergeant, but your family sure butts things up.
Oh, there you are, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Gee, I don't know.
Am I to understand that Miss Morris is being held here on a murder charge?
That's right.
Just whom is Miss Morris supposed to have killed?
Do you know a Mr. George Lexington?
Why, yes.
He's the boy.
Maybe you can tell us why she would want to kill him.
I suggest you question the witness, Mr. Diamond. But let me warn you beforehand. My advice to my client will be to say nothing until I can find out more about this thing for myself. Now, about Miss Morris.
She stays put.
Lieutenant, I have a great deal of influence.
Then get her rich. She stays put.
What about this George Lexington's background, Mr. Farnsworth?
Let me give you one more suggestion before I leave. Find these things out for yourself. I have a fair reputation in the legal profession.
Good evening, Mr. Farnsworth.
I'll have that writ, Lieutenant.
Ah, go to blazes.
Nice fellow.
A doll. Well, let's see if there's anything in these personal effects here. Take a look through the purse.
Okay.
Otis.
Yeah, Lieutenant.
Bring in the butler.
Right.
Here's something, Walt.
What is it?
A typewritten note in the bottom of her purse.
What's that?
Meet me at the house at 5:15 this evening. Bring $15,000 and be prompt, or you will regret it for the rest of your life.
Signed, George. George Lexington.
Well, bully for you.
Diamond, I swear.
Out to the butler, Lieutenant.
Come in. Sit down.
Well, thanks. Might be...
Not you, melonhead. Get out of here.
Oh, well, okay. I just thought...
Otis.
Yeah?
When the coroner's report comes in, bring it right in and bring the girl along with it.
Yeah, Lieutenant.
How do you feel, Arthur?
A little upset, sir. This has been quite a strain.
Last name Cameron?
Yes, sir.
How long have you worked for George Lexington?
About 4 years, sir. Ever since Mr. Lexington came east.
Did you know him before that?
No, sir.
You ever mentioned where he was from?
California, I think.
Had a lot of money?
I presume so. I was paid regularly. He maintained a good-sized house and entertained frequently. To my knowledge, he never had any debts that weren't paid immediately.
How long have you known Miss Morris?
She and Mr. Lexington were engaged 2 years ago. It only lasted a few months. But they still saw each other occasionally.
Did you know Miss Morris was expected tonight?
Yes, sir. She called and said she would be there at 5:45.
You sure about the time?
Yes, sir.
But you didn't expect me at 6.
No, sir. Mr. Lexington said nothing about it.
Is there another way into that study?
Yes, sir. A back door leading down to the garden.
Did Lexington have any other visitors during the day?
No, sir.
Was he in from 3 to 5?
Yes, sir.
I got the coroner's report and Miss Morris, Lieutenant.
Okay, that's all, Arthur. We'll have to hold you until this thing straightens itself out. You go along with Sergeant Loveloon.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Arthur.
Yes, sir.
Does Mr. Lexington own a typewriter?
No, sir.
All right. Come in, Miss Morris. Sit down.
Here's the report and the bullet taken out of Lexington and the knife.
Take the butler downstairs.
Right. Let's go, Arthur.
Yes, sir.
When did you receive this note, Miss Morris?
Oh, where?
We found it in your purse. When you become a murder suspect, I'm afraid nothing's very private.
This morning.
It's from George Lexington?
Yes.
He have something on you? Okay, you're just hurting yourself.
Miss Morris, did you know a man named Jack Short?
No.
Who's Jack Short, Walt?
Just read this report. Here's what it says about the late Mr. George Lexington. Fingerprints check one Jack Short, arrested 1936, 38, 39, petty theft, suspicion of robbery, suspicion of possessing narcotics, 3 arrests, 1 conviction. Did a year and a day in Alcatraz.
When did he have time to do his laundry?
He was arrested again in 1942 for manslaughter. Went to trial, case dismissed for lack of evidence. Lovely boy.
You mean George Lexington?
Was really Jack Short a criminal with a record?
But his house, servants, the money he spent.
That's something we're going to find out about.
What does the coroner's report say, Walt?
The knife did kill him, not the bullet.
Oh.
And the knife has got your fingerprints all over it, Miss Morris.
What?
It's got a what?
That's right. Ever see it before, Miss Morris?
Why, I don't know.
It's a carving knife. One that might belong to a set. Something wrong?
That's my carving knife. I missed it this morning.
Sure.
When was the last time you used it?
Last night. I gave a small dinner party.
Do you own a typewriter, Miss Morris?
Yes, I do.
Hello, June. You'd better come along with me.
Oh, Mr. Farnsworth.
Just a minute. What's the idea of busting in here like this, Farnsworth?
I tried to stop him,
You
Lieutenant.
should have stuck out one of your big feet. Those things could trip a tank.
I told you I would be back with a writ. Well, I'm here, and there's the writ. Come, June.
She stays right here.
Lieutenant, you don't seem to
No,
understand.
you don't seem to understand, Mr. Farnsworth. You got that written and it was sustained because I was nice enough not to issue a formal complaint.
Also, there's a little matter of influence.
You're darn right, and I'm going to show you how it works. I'm making a formal complaint right now, and the charge is murder. And if you don't think I can make it stick, I won't even bother to throw you out of my office. I'll let the commissioner do it for me. Now get out of here.
Gee, you're wonderful, Lieutenant.
You shut up.
Before we continue with the adventures of Richard Diamond, private detective, here's your Rexall family druggist.
One of the questions most often asked a druggist is this: what can I take for fast relief from acid stomach?
I've often wanted to know that myself. What's your answer?
Naturally, ma'am, it's Bismarex, Rexall's justly famous antacid.
Well, why? What is it that makes it so outstanding?
Well, the secret lies in the scientifically developed formula. You see, the active ingredients in Bismarex vary in the time it takes them to dissolve in the stomach. That way, the relief it gives is not only fast, but continuous and prolonged. Excess acidity is often neutralized in less than 1 minute. Then the other ingredients, dissolving more slowly, ease up that gastric distress. And finally, Bismarex leaves a soothing protective covering on irritated stomach membranes.
Well, I'll have to remember that. Bismarex. Is that how you say it?
That's right, ma'am. BISMA-REX. Bismarex. Ask for Bismarex at Rexall drugstores everywhere. And remember, you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
And now back to tonight's adventure with Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell.
Well, Farnsworth got the idea in a hurry and took off like a rabbit with his tail on fire. Walt lived up to his word. After making the formal charge and producing the evidence, the writ was dismissed. He then secured a search warrant for both Miss Morris's flat and George Lexington's house on Long Island. Our first stop was Miss Morris's apartment, and when we went in, I thought how much it looked like her. Small, beautifully decorated. We went over the whole place, nothing except in the small den.
There's the party list you told us about.
Good 30 names here. Typed.
And there's a typewriter.
You got that note you had in the purse?
Yeah, here. Top of the E is blocked out like on the note. Same machine.
No.
Bring the typewriter, Otis.
Right, Lieutenant.
You going over to Lexington's home?
Yeah, aren't you coming along?
No, I got an idea. Do me a favor, will you, Walt?
Sure, why?
When you get over there, besides checking that back door to the study, put in a call to the phone company and see if a call was made around 3:45 this afternoon to El Dorado 1234. It's a toll call from there, and they'd have a record.
Now, let me write that down. El Dorado 1234.
Yeah. I'll call you at Lexington's in about an hour. If that number wasn't called from there, check every name on that party list.
Well, there are 30 names there. You want me to check each one to see whether a call was made to El...
What's the matter?
El Dorado 1234. That's your office number.
Walt.
Yeah?
Bye. I left Walt turning that awful green and headed for the Times building. It was a little late when I got there, but an old friend at the morgue noticed the $5 bill I was wearing in my lapel and agreed to take care of it for me while I looked through the newspaper files. I dug up everything on Jack Short and his alias George Lexington. The stuff on Short wasn't much, except the trial for manslaughter hadn't made the front page. The items on George Lexington could all be found in the society columns. From what I could gather, he'd started his social whirl in 1944. He'd been engaged several times, and each time to a wealthy woman. I even came across a picture of June Morris on the evening they had announced their engagement. Well, having all the information I could get, and with one little item dated California, June 26, 1942, tucked away in my pocket, I put in a fast call to Walt, who was at the home of the late George Lexington.
Yeah?
What did you find out?
Well, someone could have gotten in the back door. There were some blurred footprints outside in the garden, but they won't help. If you had a key, you could let yourself in and walk right up the study.
What about the phone call?
There was no call made from here to your office, but one of the names on the list paid off. Mrs. Julia Wright out on Long Island. Now, would you mind telling me what this is all about?
You stay right there, Walt. I'm going out to see Mrs. Julia Wright.
Well, if she called your office today at 3:45, you certainly must have talked to her.
George Lexington called my office today at 3:45.
But he couldn't have. The butler said Lexington wasn't out of the house and the call wasn't made from here.
Well, someone called.
Maybe it was the right day. Maybe she got a low voice and told you she was Lexington.
Walt.
No?
Oh, forget it. You wouldn't like it anyway.
Mr. Diamond?
How do you do, Mrs. Wright?
My butler says your business is a matter of life or death.
Well, that's a little exaggerated, but it's one sure way of getting by the red tape.
Then what is your business, Mr. Diamond?
I'm from the police.
Oh.
Do you know Mr. George Lexington?
Why, yes, slightly.
Are you married, Mrs. Wright?
Very happily. What is your interest in Mr. Lexington, Mr. Diamond?
Do you know June Morris?
Quite well. I've known her family for at least 10 years.
She's being held for the murder of George Lexington.
Oh, that poor girl.
She was engaged to Lexington at one time, wasn't she?
Yes. He was a beast. Believe me, Mr. Diamond, he deserved killing.
I thought you said you only knew him slightly.
June used to tell me how terribly he treated her.
A phone call was made from your house yesterday at approximately 3:45 to El Dorado 1234.
I don't believe I know anyone at that number. Are you sure?
A man made it. I talked to him.
My husband wasn't home yesterday. Oh, perhaps it was my lawyer. He was here about that time. In fact, I believe he did make a call. Said it was on business. A call from the library.
What's your lawyer's name, Mrs. Wright?
Why, Mr. Lucius Farnsworth.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I certainly don't like the guy, but his reputation's been spotless.
It's just got to be, Walt.
Here's the girl, Lieutenant.
Come in, Miss Morris.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Hello, Mr. Diamond.
June, the note you received was written on the typewriter in your den.
What?
Lab just sent up a report.
You think I sent that note to myself?
No. But can you remember anyone using the typewriter in the last 2 days?
No. No one has used it but myself.
What about the night of the party?
Who uses a typewriter at a party?
Anyone go in the den and maybe lock the door?
What? Why, yes. As a matter of fact, Mr. Farnsworth said he had to make some business calls. He went in and closed. You don't think that...
That Farnsworth did it?
It's absurd. He's been with my family for years.
Did he introduce you to George Lexington?
Yes, it was at a party at Julia Wright's.
Did Mr. Farnsworth know that you owned a gun?
No one knew it.
Were you actually using that knife the night of the party?
Yes, I sliced some turkey.
You remember what kind of a suit Mr. Farnsworth was wearing that night?
He was wearing a dinner jacket.
Lexington was blackmailing you, wasn't he?
I can't answer that.
Oh, honey, believe me, if you don't trust us and it comes out anyway, we'll have no way of stopping it.
All right, it was blackmail. I was going to marry George. There were some letters, a picture. He broke off the engagement and began demanding money. Last week he mentioned something about leaving town, and I received the note. I couldn't afford that kind of money, and I was just tired of paying month after month. I decided to kill him, and I was going to kill myself. I guess I lost my nerve.
Let's go see Mr. Luke Farnsworth, Rick.
June, you sit right here until we get back.
Be careful.
You can make a book on it. I'm going to drive you home. Use your paw.
All right.
Here he comes.
Yes, what do you... Oh. What do you want, Lieutenant?
Got any hot coffee?
If this is your idea of some kind of a joke...
Mind if we come in?
I most certainly do.
Thanks.
How dare you break in here like this? I can cause you a great deal of trouble, Lieutenant.
How well did you say you knew George Lexington?
Only slightly.
Hey, get a load of these fancy ashtrays, Walt.
Yeah, but I don't go much for modern. Pretty drapes, though.
Oh, the policemen are being casual.
You only knew Lexington slightly, huh?
Yes, and this is the third time I've said it.
You must make a lot of money.
I have wealthy clients.
How much did Jack Short pay you to get him out of that manslaughter charge?
What?
You remember him. Sensational case. Made you quite a reputation.
Of course I remember it.
This Short was sure a handsome fella. Did he change his name later?
I don't know. That was a long time ago.
Didn't he change it to Lexington? George Lexington?
What is this all about?
Mind if we look around the place?
I most certainly do.
Is that your bedroom?
You have no right to go in there. Where's your warrant?
Nice bedroom.
Get out. Get out. I'll call the commissioner.
Why don't you do that? These your keys?
Put those down.
Take it easy.
I wonder if one of these fits a back door to George Lexington's study.
Don't be ridiculous. I've only been to Mr. Lexington's house twice in my life. Arthur, the butler, will verify to that.
You mean you've only been there twice, but the front way?
I mean exactly that. What are you doing in that closet?
Nice wardrobe. This your dinner jacket?
Lieutenant, I warn you.
No, I'm going to warn you, Farnsworth, officially. Anything that you may say will be held against you. I'm charging you with the murder of George Lexington.
Well, this is really one for the books. Would you mind telling me what proof you have?
You called my office at 3:45 this afternoon from the home of Mrs. Julia Wright. Disguised your voice and told me you were George Lexington.
Really? Hearsay.
You were at a party given by June Morris. You stole a carving knife that she'd been using, probably wrapped it up in a handkerchief to keep her fingerprints on the handle.
Did someone see me?
For some reason, you wanted George Lexington out of the way. He'd been blackmailing victims that you introduced him to. You made sure that Miss Morris would be at his home at exactly 5:45. You wrote a note on her typewriter telling her to be there. You called me to be sure that someone would catch her.
Interesting theory.
You went up the back way into the study, probably with one of these keys. You stabbed Lexington and got out just before the girl came up.
You made one mistake. You didn't figure that the girl might try to kill Lexington.
What?
Yeah, she shot him. But she shot a dead man.
She shot him?
After he was dead. You don't know it, Buster, but you just missed the perfect crime.
Now prove it.
The girl said you were wearing a dinner jacket the night of her party. This the coat?
Yes.
Well, to get the knife out, you had to put it in a pocket or someplace on you. She had been carving turkey. Ever hear of a spectrograph?
Of course.
Sure. Have the pockets analyzed, and if we find traces of turkey, we'll know you swiped the knife.
And if the key to Lexington's back door is on this ring, it'll cinch it.
I'm afraid not. Come back here, Frank. He's going for the window. Frank, stop it, go. Let me go.
Not on your life. Not on your life. You don't take it the easy way.
Get out of his hair. No.
Got him.
No. Why didn't you let me jump? What difference would it have made?
Well, it sure would have saved the state some money. But a quick trip to the sidewalk doesn't make up for a killing. That's the easy way, Farnsworth. You forget when you commit murder, there's a little thing called society. And if you can't live with people, they'll decide what to do with you. Oh, that last mile is a lulu.
Again, here's your Rexall family druggist.
If you're a user of mineral oil, remember that Rexall mineral oil is carefully refined by a special process to achieve an extra heavy body. What's more, because it's so exceptionally pure and gentle in its action, Rexall mineral oil is non-irritating, non-habit-forming. You'll also like the fact that it's tasteless, odorless, colorless. Next time, try Rexall mineral oil. And remember, you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall. Richard Diamond, Private Detective, stars Dick Powell in the title role and is written by Blake Edwards with music composed and conducted by Frank Worth. Featured in tonight's cast were Ted DeCorsia, Wilms Herbert, Ted Osborne, Betty Moran, Howard McNear, and Virginia Gregg. Richard Diamond, Private Detective is transcribed in Hollywood by Jaime Del Valle. This is Bill Foreman inviting you to be with us next Wednesday at this time when we will again bring you Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, Private Detective.
Hiya, beautiful.
Get lost, Bristlepuss. You need a shave.
But I have shaved. What else do you want me to do?
Silly boy, she wants you to go Stag.
Go Stag? But why?
Because Stag is Rexall's exclusive line of men's good grooming aids, like Stag Brushless Shave Cream. No fuss, no massage, just smooth it on, and presto, you get a clean, close shave. Your face stays smooth and whiskerless all day long.
I'll do it. I'll go Stag.
That's it. Join the Stag line now at Rexall drugstores everywhere.
Yeah.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
This, I believe. Martin W. Littleton is a man who changed his life by asking himself two questions. Where am I going? And who wants to be a hero to a crook? He was known as a successful criminal lawyer, having earned this reputation from 1929 to 1941 as a district attorney of Nassau County in New York and in private practice as well. Then he says he woke up and without further ado moved his whole family, lock, stock, and barrel, to a small ranch high up in the thorny bosom of the Rockies. Here is Martin Littleton.
More years ago than I now like to remember, when I was a young fellow in college, I was taking my final examinations of the year. They were important examinations, and failure could mean the end of college for me. I had not been a good student. I had not applied myself as I should have, and I was hoping that the last-minute cram sessions would provide me with enough knowledge to pass. I had taken 3 of the exams and felt fairly hopeful for the results. But the 4th exam seemed hopeless. The questions called for answers I did not know. We had the honor system. There was no supervision during the examinations, and students were free to come and go as they pleased. In the middle of this examination, I thought I would go to my room to see if I'd received a letter I was anxiously expecting. A girl, of course. There was no letter at my room, but in looking over my desk, I saw several books which held the answers to the exam on which I was so completely stumped. I stood and looked at those books, and my mind spun with the thought that in just a few minutes I could look up the answers, or at least enough to ensure success. Nobody in the world would know. I could go back to my examination paper, which I had left at my seat, and score a passing mark. It was so simple, and such a complete solution to the crisis with which I was faced. I stood looking at those books, but I never touched them. Something I did not bother to analyze at the time held me back. I was too young then to be concerned with self-analysis or soul-searching. I returned to the examination room, wrote down a few wild guesses on my paper, and turned it in. It was a miserable failure, a failure which cost me a year of college. I regretted the failure, and the lack of diligence and application which brought it about. I flunked that exam, but I did pass another and even more severe test, which only I knew about, and for which no grades were given at that time. But it has been since graded every day throughout my life. I have gained more from that flunked exam than all the others I successfully passed. Its lesson brought to me the dramatic knowledge of the great power, the vital force, and the full sense of mental security that can come only from intellectual integrity and honesty. It opened the inner door to myself and gave me a glimpse of a treasure which no material thing could ever produce. I learned more and became richer from that one failure than from all the many examinations I ever passed. Without intellectual integrity, a man is indeed bankrupt. A person's greatest success, oftentimes, masquerades in the disguise of failure. Mine did. This is the first time I have ever told this little story, but it has always been in my mental treasure chest of personal riches.
That was Martin W. Littleton, a former criminal lawyer of New York who has taken root on a ranch in Cody, Wyoming, where he says living is still an art and not merely necessity.
Mr. District Attorney, starring David Bryan. Mr. District Attorney, champion of the people, defender of truth, guardian of our fundamental rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
And it shall be my duty as district attorney not only to prosecute to the limit of the law all persons accused of crimes perpetrated within this county, but to defend with equal vigor the rights and privileges of all its citizens. This is David Bryan. In a moment, we'll bring you another case from the files of Mr. District Attorney. But first, a word from our sponsor.
And now, here is our star, David Bryan, as Paul Garrett, Mr. District Attorney.
As District Attorney, protecting the citizens of this county from criminal violence is one of my biggest jobs. Unfortunately, such protection isn't always possible. We are always on guard, quick to take preventive measures to ensure the safety of everyone. But often a situation arises that we cannot foresee. A person with no previous criminal record decides to go wrong, and in doing so commits bodily harm. In a case of this kind, as we are about to see, the remedy can only begin after a victim is paid with his or her life. Is this all right?
I told you to stop back there. We're too close.
You gotta be able to grab him when he unlocks that door, Abby.
Too close. You'll see me.
Here comes something now. Is that the guy?
Yeah. And he's looking right at me. He knows me.
You don't know from nothing. Look, he's heading for the door. He'd have said hello if he recognized you.
He fired me a week ago. Why would he want to say hello?
Why don't you relax? Let's go, Pete.
Yeah.
Sorry, gentlemen. Store won't be open for business for another 30 minutes. A gun?
Yeah. And the store is open for us right now. Let's go inside. Leave the door open.
Okay, mister. I head for the safe.
But we don't have a safe. We don't keep money here.
You want to head for the safe, or do you want to get hurt?
All right. All right. I don't want any trouble.
Well, come on. Let's get moving.
What's the matter? You nervous?
Yes, I am. Listen, I'll do anything you say. I don't want any trouble.
Smart boy.
Here it is.
All right, get it open.
Sure. It'll only take a minute. Just a minute. There.
Get the dope, Pete.
That's all of now. I guess you want to tie me up or something?
We're going to do more than that, Mr. D.
Mrs. Boardman.
You're crazy or something. What are you doing in here?
I tell you, this man recognized me, and I intend to do something about it.
We're supposed to stay in the car.
Give me that gun.
No, don't do that. I won't say anything. I promise I won't say anything. No!
You're darn right you won't say anything.
You're crazy, Dame. Let's get out of here. Man works 10 years getting to be manager of the store. Some trigger-happy punk cuts him down with a couple of bullets. Well, there he is, Chief.
I suppose there's a family.
Yeah. A wife and 3 kids, according to the lieutenant. The oldest kid is 10. Now I'm going to get some real enjoyment out of cracking this one.
That goes double on it. Did anyone witness the holdup?
Yeah. Plenty of gawkers outside now. Nobody was around when it happened.
Make a canvass of the neighborhood. See if anyone noticed a car near the place at the time of the crime. Spend the whole day if you have to.
Okay.
Is there a telephone handy?
Yeah, right over there. I'll see you later, Chief.
District Attorney's Office.
Miss Miller, I'd like you to make a quick checkup on something. We've had a robbery here. I don't know how much money yet, but whoever did it killed the manager of the place at the same time. I want these people, and I want them fast. So get me a police report on any known holdup artist who might be in this area.
Where are you, Mr. Garrett?
The Barlow Supermarket on Grove Street, but I won't be here long. I'm going into headquarters for a ballistics report as soon as they can give it to me. Then I want to make an unofficial call. There's a family in the neighborhood that's suddenly without a father. I'm going to see if I can be of any immediate help to them.
Where can I get you then?
I'll call you back in about an hour.
What do you got the door locked for?
What do you think?
I had my way, we'd blow this town right now.
Well, what for? We got away clean. You're getting jumpy.
Why wouldn't I be jumpy? Crazy dame, killing a man for a lousy $700.
There'll be other jobs. We'll do better. Where is she?
In there, fixing her face.
It's all fixed?
Yeah. And it looks real good, baby.
Thank you, Lugo.
Lugo, I want to tell you something.
Yeah, what?
I want you to quit calling Don a baby.
It's a lot better than what you call it.
Never mind what I call it. I'm married to her.
Get him. Just because he's married to me, he figures he can call me anything.
I'm warning you, Lugo.
What's the matter with you anyway? What's wrong with me calling her baby?
I don't like it. That's what's wrong. I think to knock it off.
Why can't we be happy once in a while? We got money, haven't we?
$700. A lousy $700, and you had to kill a man for it.
Might have killed that one for a lot less. He didn't like it because I had to go out for a smoke once in a while. Called me out in front of everybody.
I told you I wouldn't go for any shooting. I told you that before we started.
So you told me. What can you do about it?
Well, you killed him with my gun, too.
What good did it do for you to carry a gun? You ain't got nerve enough to use it.
Oh, let's cut this out and split the money. I can use my half.
What are you talking about, your half? I was in on this, wasn't I?
Well, yeah, but Pete and me originally figured it 50-50.
Who set up this job? Who knew where that safe was? Who knew what time that guy would open up? I don't care what you and Pete figured. We split it across the board 3 ways.
Okay. I just assumed you had the dough. Guess you earned it.
I'm going to earn more. Next one's going to be the biggest store in the chain. We'll do a lot better than $700 from that market. Turn on the radio, Lugo. Let's have a little music while we divide this money.
Yeah.
Morning, Miss Miller.
Good morning, Harrington.
Keith come in yet?
Mr. Oz, he's in his office.
Good.
Morning, Harrington.
Hi, Chief.
Did you find out anything about that market case?
I waited until 9 o'clock last night. I finally trained up a couple of people who think they might have seen the car. A gray Suburban, but no license number.
Oh, that's not much to go on. Better check and see if any have been reported stolen.
I already checked. There ain't one of them models been stolen in 3 months.
Looks as though we're up against a problem.
How about picking up the boys who use that M.O.?
Well, the ones we know who use that method of operation aren't working in this area. Not with records. No, we've got to stick with that Suburban for our lead, Harrington. And if they didn't steal it, you wouldn't think crooks would be foolish enough to use their own car, would you?
Not unless they're real morons.
You know, Harrington, they might have rented that Suburban.
Yeah, that's a thought.
And when you rent a car, you have to come up with identification.
Yeah, you do.
Get started on our car rental agency. You take one phone and have Miss Miller take the other.
Right away, Chief.
Hiya, Donna.
That all you fellas ever do when I'm not around? Play cards?
Well, what else is there to do when you're not around? And I got most of your husband's money.
He can't hang on to money, never could. Whew, there's smoke in here.
I opened the window.
You need a ventilator the way you guys smoke.
What you got in the boxes?
I bought myself some new clothes.
Oh?
I did something else while I was out, too.
What?
I cased that Grand Street Market. Gab with one of the checkers. Just like where I worked, only more volume and a lot more money.
When do you figure we ought to do it?
Why not this week?
I think we ought to wait. It's too soon after the other one.
What difference does that make?
Well, I think it's too soon, that's all.
If we listened to you, we'd never get anything done. Ooh, that smoke. I gotta open another window.
What do you expect to do? Keep on cracking supermarkets every week?
Well, we're gonna crack this one anyway, and we're gonna do it in a couple of days.
Hello, Acme Car Rental Agency? This is the district attorney's office. We'd like to know if your office has rented out a gray Suburban in the last few days. You haven't? I see. Well, thanks anyway.
This is the office of the district attorney. We'd like to know if you've rented a gray Suburban any time this week. Yeah.
All right, I'll wait.
That makes 23 for me and still no Suburbans. Let's see, the next one will be Tony's U Drive, Evergreen 3, 4456. I didn't know there were this many car rentals in existence.
Me neither. Hello? What's that? Yeah, that's right. Gray Suburban. Oh, good. And, what was the name? Mrs. who? Mrs. Donna Fordney, 215 Valencia. Okay. Oh, wait. You say they turned the car back? Okay, thanks very much.
You got one.
I sure did. Looks like we're in business, Chief.
The car rental?
Right. Gray Suburban was rented day before yesterday to a Mrs. Donna Fordney, lives at 215 Valencia, apartment 5.
Yes, Mr. Garrett.
Call that address Harrington got, will you? See if they've got a vacancy.
Yeah, right away.
Valencia Street. That's only 5 or 6 blocks from that mark.
I was thinking the same thing. Did you get a description of the woman?
I did. She's a blonde, about 22, medium height and build. Guy said she was plenty good looking.
Got your information, Mr. Garrett. The Carlisle Apartments, and they do have a vacancy, a double on the ground floor.
Good. Call them back, Miss Miller. Tell them you'll take the apartment for your uncle.
Her uncle? Look, Chief, I ain't that old.
Set up a stakeout, Harrington. Get to know that blonde. Get to know what she does, where she goes, who her friends are. Find out if she works and where. Find out if her husband works. Talk to the women who live around her. They'll tell you. Try to find out if she's throwing money around. If she is, we'll make an arrest right away.
A blonde with money. Sounds like a pretty soft assignment, Harrington.
Yeah. Sew up like a .38 caliber bullet.
Oh, you better watch your step, all right. If that blonde has money, she probably got it because some killer used a gun. And if we get him in a corner, they'll use it again. This is David Bryan. Before we continue with Mr. District Attorney in the case of the supermarket killer, here's an important message I'd like you to hear. And now back to David Bryan, starring as Paul Garrett, Mr. District Attorney. A supermarket had been robbed. $700 had been stolen. And the manager of the store had been murdered in cold blood. My office had been able to come up with only one lead. The car used in the holdup was the same type as one rented by a Mrs. Donna Fordney, a young woman who lived in an apartment house near the scene of the crime. We knew she was a blonde, and we knew she was good-looking, but so are a lot of other girls. And there are plenty of Suburbans driving around the city streets. But you do your best with whatever turns up. You try to add to it. So now Harrington was staked out in the apartment next door. Hello.
Harrington, Mr. Garrett.
Okay, put him on.
Hello, Chief.
How are you doing?
I haven't been able to find out much yet. The girl has a husband, all right. Name's Pete. And there's another guy. Seems to be a family friend. Comes and goes.
Can you get acquainted?
I'm going to try that now. The husband is there alone.
This will be a good test of that course I've been taking.
Course? What kind of course?
You know, the one on how to make friends and promote people. So long, Chief. I'll check back with you. Yeah? What do you want? Oh, I'm the guy in the next apartment. So what? Oh, I'm going nuts rattling around there alone. Why don't you take a walk? Walk? I got bum dogs. Look, if you ain't got nothing to do, I thought you might like to, come over and shoot a fat. I'm sorry, I gotta hang around here. We could play some cards. How about a little running? I don't think so. Suit yourself. But it seems kind of silly, both of us knocking ourselves out doing nothing. What's the matter? Don't you like cards? I didn't say I didn't want cards. My wife's coming in pretty soon, that's all. Yeah, we'll play till she gets home. Yeah, I guess so. We better play in here. Then I'll be around when she gets back. That's okay with me. Hey, you got a nicer apartment than I have. Oh, those big windows. They ain't as good as it looks. We get a lot of traffic noise. You want to play for dough? Dough? How much dough? Well, not enough so you get hurt. I'm practically broke. Oh, that's too bad. Why, I got a few things coming up. I'll be all right. Here. Shuffle. Hey, yeah. I see your wife going and coming. She's a nice-looking girl. Trouble is she knows it. So do a lot of guys around here. Yeah, I guess that's a problem. Here, cut him. Keeps a man busy all the time.
Well, and who's your friend?
Never mind my friend. What about yours? Every time you go out lately, you come back with that guy.
Don't get nasty now, Pete. I just met Don on the way in.
You just don't pay any attention to warnings, do you, Lugo? What do you want from me? A written invitation?
Keep it up, Pete. Keep it up. You're going to give me that dog I once too often.
Shut up, both of you. You still haven't told us who your friend is, Pete.
He's a guy who lives by himself next door, and if he's smart, he'll keep on living by himself.
My, but we're in a bad mood. Well, I'm not feeling so gay myself. And I'm asking your friend to leave.
Now, wait a minute, Donna.
You heard me. And I guess we know who pays the rent for this place.
Yeah, it's all right, Pete. I'll go. I don't want to make no trouble for anybody. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow.
You stupid fathead. What's the idea of taking up with a stranger like that?
What's wrong with him? He lives right next door to us.
Donna's right, Pete. It's dangerous.
You keep out of this, Lugo.
Why should I keep out of it? Just as much my neck if anything goes wrong.
If you want to know something, we aren't waiting around for anything to go wrong. We're cracking that Grand Street market this afternoon.
What?
And if you're nervous, you don't need to come along. If you chicken out now, don't expect me to come back to you.
Who's going to chicken out? I'm in this just as much as you are.
All right, let's go.
Go where? We need a car, don't we?
I got the car. Same one. It's out back. Come on.
Though you're holding out against the charms of the blonde without too much trouble? Oh, I could be wrong, though. Isn't that a new tie you're wearing? You better watch it, Harrington. These blondes can turn out to be real femme fatales.
I'm doing all right so far. She's a piffle looks, no kid. She don't like me, though. Ordered me out of their apartment.
You mean your course didn't help?
Yeah, not a bit. She's got a real cold eye, that's it.
Any signs of wealth around?
Well, nothing I could see. Her husband didn't even have enough dough to play gin rummy.
Sounds as though the rent on your apartment might turn out to be a waste of the taxpayers' money.
We could pick them up on suspicion.
And the smart attorney would have them out within 24 hours. There's still no evidence against them but the car, and that's pretty flimsy. Besides, we could blow the case if we move too fast. They'd come out and transfer their operation to some other spot. We've just got to keep watching and waiting.
Well, it ain't a bad apartment. I sure rattle around in it.
Stay with it a little longer. Something might turn up.
Okay, Chief.
This the street?
This is it. Turn. Turn! There it is. Halfway down the block. We'll go around and back.
I still think we'd be better off doing it the way we did before.
Each time different. That way we don't take chances. In this alley, Pete.
District Attorney's office.
Harrington, Miss Miller. Chief there?
Not right now, Harrington. Wait a second. He just came in. Hold on. For you, Mr. Garrett, Harrington.
I'll take it right here. Hello, Harrington.
We got a bad break, Chief.
What's that?
They blew the coop while I was out front talking to you. Must have gone out the back way, and they were all three together.
Well, that could mean something, all right. I'll send out an alert. Stay there, Harrington. We'll keep in touch. Miss Miller?
Yes, sir?
Get me Lieutenant Padre right away. I'll take it to my office.
Okay.
Okay. Looks all right. Get behind that wheel, Donna. Come on, Pete.
Enough for that arrangement. I'm going with you. Let Pete stay here with the car.
Hey, maybe that's a good idea. A man and a woman. Not so suspicious looking.
Give me your gun, Pete.
You better promise not to use it.
Give me the gun. Just be ready to move when we get out of here. Come on, Lugo.
Get that gun out of sight.
Sure. Don't be so jumpy. You're as bad as Pete.
Boy, you beat me. I've never seen a dame like you.
About the manager's office?
Right where you said.
About the manager?
He's in it.
Good. Not many people around either. Here we go.
Good afternoon.
Close the door, Lugo.
I do something for you?
Yes, you can, mister. You can open that safe and don't try anything funny.
Bradley, quick. No, hold up. He's got an intercom.
Put that on your intercom.
Donna, come on.
District Attorney's office. Where's that? Grand Street. All right, I'll tell him at once.
Yes, Miss Miller.
There's been another holdup, Mr. Garrett. The Barlow Supermarket on Grand Street, and they shot the manager. What's that?
I'm going out on that, Miss Miller. Alert Harrington right away. This time we might be able to grab that bunch.
You and that gun. Now we're really going to have to get out of here.
Shut up and get the door open. What are you doing here?
Just came over to visit. Found the door unlocked, so I walked in.
Well, you can walk right out again.
Sure.
Wait a second. What's that you got in your hand?
The wind was blowing in through the open window. Scattered some papers around. I picked them up for you.
Give me that. Take a look. It's a money wrapper from the market. You got more of these?
Let him alone, Lugo. He don't mean no harm.
That's what you think. Look. More of them in his pocket. And look at this. A 38 police special.
He's a cop.
Get over there, you.
Shut the door, please.
Yeah.
Lousy cop sneaking in here.
No sneaking to it, Mrs. Portney. Everything legal. I've got a search warrant on me if you'd like to take a look at it.
Keep your hands away from your pockets.
What are we going to do with him, Donna?
You ain't going to keep him for no pet.
You're not going to kill him either, Donna. No more killing.
Lugo, you got a gun. If he tries anything, you know what to do.
You can't get away with killing cops, Donna. Not cops.
Just slug him, Donna, and let's get out of here.
He's the only one who can identify us. Get my handbag out of the closet, Lugo. Then get ready to blow.
You can't beat this thing. You'll be picked up.
You'll have to find us first. Got the bag, Lugo?
One with the dough, I got it.
You're not going to kill him, Donna. You killed enough guys.
Try to stop me. He's getting it right.
All right, drop those guns.
That's all for you, sister. Drop it.
Lousy cop.
You all right, Harrington?
Yeah, I'm fine, Chief. Them slugs all went into my apartment next door, but you got here just right. This trigger-happy young lady was just about to give me the works. Crazy dame. She's killed crazy.
Maybe you'd like to tell us about it, mister.
He can't tell you nothing. He's my husband, and he can't testify against me.
No, but Lugo can, and if he don't, I'll lay it all on him.
Not on me, you won't. I'm not sitting still for any murder rap.
Here's our break, Chief.
You're in this with me. Both of you. Right up to your half-price haircut.
Yeah, I'm in it. But I didn't do them killings, and neither did Lugo. You pulled the trigger both times. You crazy, stubborn dame.
All right, let's go. All of you. We'll hear the rest of it downtown. This is David Bryan. I hope you enjoyed this case from the files of Mr. District Attorney. I'll be back in just a moment after this message from our sponsor.
Now, here's the star of Mr. District Attorney, David Bryan, with a word about the program you have just heard.
Perhaps you remember the outcome of this case. The jury found Pete and Lugo and the girl we call Donna guilty of murder in the first degree. Society now has collected the penalty for their crimes. Now, this is David Bryan inviting you to join us when we present our next case based on the facts of crime from the file of Mr. District Attorney.
Mr. District Attorney was originated by Philip H. Lord.